Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Hello there, everyone. Apologies for my lateness. There is a story to it, and I'm not going to tell it twice, so we'll wait till what do you call it? We're going to do question time with No Justice MTG. So I'll just tell you as I tell her, if that makes sense. It's just an annoying fucking story. Yes, but see, the thing is, don't be community minded and don't try and help people, because they'll just fucking annoy you. That's the way I look at it. Basically, be totally antisocial in every way, and you'll have an easier life. I think that's the takeaway message from everything. Give me money so that I don't die or something. No, it wasn't very serious, to be honest, but it was, you know. But it was annoying. Why is the N cut off there? There we go. Yes. So yeah, we're doing question time, everyone. That's what's happening. Fuck yeah. Thank you, Carl Brown, for gifting a membership. Much love. I've got the voice of a fucking angel. Kev, you forgot to announce. What, in the Discord? Oh, suck a fat cock, man. The one place... I say everyone, join the Discord so you can come to the... And it's the one place I fucking forget to post the link to everything. Ah! Again, just don't. Just fucking don't, okay? Is No Justice doing a fucking segment again? I mean, she's perfectly entitled to, and I was late as balls anyway, so... Live right now. And I fucking cut my hand. Bollocks. Not really related to anything, but I have actually cut my hand. There we go. I think, actually, Wayward Historian already beat me to it, but whatever. I don't care. Thank you, Wayward, for being significantly better at this than I am. Disable all notification sounds, because, yeah, Discord can fucking do one. Okay. Is she doing a bit? Is she doing the, what you call it. Thank you, Carl Brown, for another gifted membership. And I'll turn the alert box back on so that the noises happen. Kev, why are you squished? So I could get the Zoran thing into a roughly square shape. Basically the flag's too fucking big. Or the camera can't be any further away. Because literally that's on the far wall and the camera is like that far from the wall. Which it needs to be to get the wire to go anyway. So basically, because I didn't check the dimensions of the flag that everyone paid me to buy, I've slightly squished the screen a little bit to make it squarer. Yeah. What's your thoughts on Burnham, Mr. Kev? Yeah, so for those who don't know, there's going to be a by-election in Manchester, which is where Andy Burnham is the mayor. And he's likely to stand, it seems. Or likely to try and stand, although Labour changed the rules to mean that they could basically block him if they wanted to. We'll wait and see on that. I think his politics are better than Starmer. But I still can't see him becoming leader because there are so many hurdles between where he is now and where he wants to get to. Because he has to become an MP. I mean, technically the Prime Minister doesn't have to be an MP or a member of the House of Lords, technically, right? But they do. They have to be a member of the House of Commons. They have to be an MP. And so, yeah, he has to become an MP, and then he has to sort of establish himself again because he's been very popular in Manchester, but Manchester is not the rest of the country. He's relatively high profile, but not like nationally that high profile. Like it's been a while since he's been a national figure in that way. So he'd have to establish himself and then challenge Starmer and then win in a party that has been purged of anyone vaguely to the left of like fucking Mussolini, basically. So it's going to be difficult for him. I'd like to see him try, just because fuck Starmer, basically. I want him to become a PM so Reform might only get a minority government. Yeah, I can see that. I can't see him turning around Labour's fortunes that much, though, because by the time he's gone through that entire process, that's going to be at least 18 months, maybe more like 2 years, I think. By which time you're in the fucking countdown to the next election. You know. So what's he going to be able to do in that time? Considering that during those 2 years, Labour will have been riven with division, had a change of leader, and will have had 2 years of more of fucking Morgan McSweeney fucking the country. I can't see him... I really can't see him doing a lot in terms of turning their fortunes around. But you never know. New leaders do tend to get a bit of a bounce. Brown definitely did, which is why he should have gone early, a year early, and then maybe we could have avoided David Cameron, I suppose. But who knows? Anyway. So yeah, I mean, him at least stirring the pot puts pressure on Starmer not to be as much of a fucking piece of shit, I think. So that's something. You never know. Anyway. Can someone inform No Justice that I've posted a link in the Twitter DMs? Because they're yeah. Because they are live. I can see that they're live. Oh, we're on a hype train. Thank you, Mr. Peter Wood. Mr. Peter Wood. For resubscribing. 15 months. Much love, yeah. And thank you, Dr. Phil Decker, with 100 bitty bits. If you do bits and messages and all of that shit, and chats, we can get on to the next level of the hype train or something. I don't fucking care. I want to die. I don't know. Actually, it's about to fucking finish anyway. Okay, there you go. I should probably try and keep up to date with what's actually happening in the stream, shouldn't I? I've turned the noises back on, but they're not playing for whatever reason. I'll turn them off and on again. That works sometimes. Yeah, you can do super chats and stuff as well. Thank you, Wayward. Rusty turned 8 this week. Aww. Aww. Salutes in chat, everyone. Comrade Rusty. Absolutely adorable work. Dogs do love to be straining on the lead. I love that shit. Like, I always try and tell dog, when you're walking a dog, you just like, calm down. But you know we're going to the place. So, like, why... You don't need to pull me there. We can just walk normally and then you don't get choked. What the fuck? Anyway.
Yo, 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 yo. How we doing?
Hello there, Helena, yes. Apologies for my lateness. It was because of my community-minded spirit and the fact that my neighbour is a bellend.
Yeah. So much for the good people of Birmingham now, eh?
Yeah, exactly. The fucking rats have it. No, my neighbour, because he's a forgetful cunt, he leaves a spare key to his house at mine, right? And about once a month he knocks on and says, "Oh, I forgot my key," or "I've lost my key," and then I give him that, and he does the thing, right? So he fucking... I heard someone knocking at the front door as I was setting up the stream, and I thought, I ain't fucking answering. You're having a laugh, mate. And then he rang me and was like, "Are you in?" I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah." So I gave him the fucking key, right? Came back, continued to set up, forgot to press the fucking start stream button. When I knock at the door happens again, he's come to give me the key back. And even though I specifically said, I'm setting up my fucking stream, but he knocked on again. And I couldn't be mad at him because that's just fine. That's normal. That's what normal people do, right? And I wanted to stab him.
Hope he doesn't know stream viewer.
I don't think so. I think he's too busy getting laid or something. I don't know.
I mean, that's yeah. I mean, we are streamers. We can't really complain, can we?
Exactly. Streamers are scum. Just saying.
No, exactly. Like romantically repellent scum is what we are.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Your neighbours know you stream. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you talk to people, and they say, "What do you do for a living?" And let's be honest, considering I'm home during the day, it's either streamer or I sell drugs. So, like, it's, you know what I mean? And at least streaming is legal. Morally,
At time of recording.
Yeah, morally it's a wash, obviously, but legally speaking, you can be a streamer.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
both hard-working small business people.
Exactly. I
trader.
I support the decriminalisation of drugs and the criminalisation of streaming.
It's true. So true. So true.
And
streamers are just landlords. So right, Chloe. So true.
Exactly. I charge you rent for this intellectual housing. Yes. Anyway, yes. Don't forget you can pay your rent, and if you don't, we will evict you by in the form of bits and subs and memberships and super chats. So there you go.
Very true. Very true. Make sure to tip your streamer landlord today.
Indeed. Yes. Okay. How was it being the proper full host of Navarra?
It was good fun. I very much enjoyed shitting on the Labour Party for 2 days straight. Nice. It was great. I had so much. Oh my God, Kevin! You have no idea. You probably do have a pretty good idea actually, but I am so excited for this by-election. It's gonna be a bloodbath. It's so funny.
It's gonna be a shit show, right? Look, just run down the names that could or maybe be in this by-election. George Galloway, amazing, throbbing George Galloway,
throbbing out.
You've got George Galloway, you've got Zia Yusuf for the Reform Party, the fucking weird little Asian Hitler, awesome. Possibly Zach Polanski, not confirmed yet, but you never know. And then possibly Andy Burnham, unless they block him, which they might.
And potentially your party as well.
And potentially your party, and there's going to be independents, and of course there'll be a monster raving loony party dickhead as well. It's going to be an absolute shit show. Count Binface, please Count Binface. Go to Manchester for a couple of months and cause havoc. Let's go.
Absolutely. Oh my God, it's gonna be absolute cinema. This is gonna be the most. It's gonna be so much fun because there's nothing like literally the only people with anything to lose here are the Labour Party.
Yeah, because it's one of the safest seats in the country theoretically, for them. Literally, at the last election, even though their overall percentage of the vote nationally wasn't great, they got over 50%. They got not just a plurality in first past the post, they got a majority in this seat. The closest combatant to them behind them was like 30 points back.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to lose. Even if Burnham does run and is the candidate, he could actually lose, which would be mad considering how popular he is in Manchester. But that's just that's like the counteraction of his popularity in Manchester and the massive unpopularity of the National Labour Party, and the fact that it's not a general election, so you're not voting for a government. The government won't change, so they can't say, "But you have to vote for us, otherwise the Tories or the Reform will get in," because that's not going to happen.
Yep.
So it's
very true.
Yeah, mad shit.
Okay. Well, on that subject, on this subject, right?
Yes.
I have a question for you, Kevin. I have a question for you.
Go for it.
What should the Green Party's strategy be, in your mind, towards the by-election? So there are obviously lots of different potential permutations of how this goes, right? There could be a situation where Andy Burnham is blocked from being able to be on the shortlist. He could be shortlisted, but then he could not get selected by the CLP, and he could be the candidate that gets selected. Yeah. And in all these different situations, I think the Green Party approach should be different. But yes, of course, the Green Party approach is you have either a local politician or Zach Polanski, you campaign heavily, you don't. What's your opinion?
Well, yeah, I think, like you say, it depends on exactly what happens vis-a-vis Burnham. Firstly, Zach Polanski standing there, I've heard some people going on about carpetbagging. He's originally from Manchester, so it actually wouldn't be. Zia Yusuf is a carpetbagger, a man who I don't think has been to Manchester in his entire fucking life. So that's by the by. Part of me thinks they should stand aside, partly, to stop maybe Reform winning. Because Reform, like in theory, it could be a straight three-way fight between either the Greens, Reform, or the Labour Party. And if it looks like they might hand a seat to Reform, is it worth thinking, fuck it, stand aside and let Burnham in? I think that's a reasonable question to ask. If I was Zach Polanski, first and foremost, I wouldn't run in this seat. Because as much as you want to get into Parliament, the chances of the Greens winning this seat are relatively slim, I think, actually. They could win it, it's not out of the question, but I don't think they're going to. And so it just looks sort of bad if you stand for it and don't win. And I don't think anyone would say, like, oh, he's a coward if he doesn't stand, because, like, he's not actually from that particular seat. He doesn't have, like, necessarily a history in that area. And, of course, with Burnham, if Burnham is standing there in this instance, I think that would be a weird thing to do, to stand against him as a person who is popular in Manchester and well known nationally, and of course throws a cat amongst the pigeons for the Labour Party, which is ideal for the Green Party and possibly ideal for the country, because you probably get better policies under a Burnham government. Anyway, regardless, I wouldn't stand there if I were him, because the potential win is not worth the potential loss, if that makes sense. I think the calculation is different there, and of course you don't want to be accused of parachuting people into a seat, given that that's one of the criticisms they've had of the Labour Party, and so you don't want to be considered kind of personally much of a hypocritical or anything like that. I honestly, if you could get together a Green Party, your party combination ticket for this, I'd quite like that as an option. I think would be quite nice. Where either one or the other stands aside and allows the other one to win, or maybe you have literally a dual person who stands for like a kind of unity ticket. That would be quite good, because the potential for that to be successful is I think improved. But also, I mean, part of me just wants them to go fuck it. It doesn't matter whether it's Andy Burnham or not. I want them to absolutely fucking crush these bastards, and I don't give a fuck. Like I've said this before, Reform getting in is the fault of Morgan McSweeney and Keir Starmer. It's not the fault of the Green Party. It's not the fault of any other set of people. It's the right wing of the Labour Party that have created the perfect conditions for the Reform Party to get in. So it doesn't matter to me whether the Green Party run and split the vote and allow a Reform candidate to win, because that's up to the Labour Party being fucking shit. So run and create havoc. Bollocks to them.
I think that the issue that you have, right, is there's a real kind of conflict here. So let's just assume that Andy Burnham will be the candidate. I don't think that he will. I think the NEC will block him. Like, it's already been kind of semi-confirmed that they're trying to get some kind of diversity shortlist to block him, right?
Well, exactly. Yeah, they're going to try and woke him out of the nomination, which is a fantastic set of nonsense. But and the fact that it's so obvious that they were scared to fuck of Burnham running because of what happened at last year's conference and him umming and ahhing about it, that they introduced what's being referred to as the Burnham rule, which has never been a part of the Labour Party's internal rules before. But if you're a mayor or a police and crime commissioner, you have to get the say-so of the NEC to even run, because that would cause a by-election for the mayoralty or whatever. But this has never been a rule before. This has been introduced specifically so that they could block Burnham for standing for a parliamentary seat. It's like the level of authoritarianism and like genuinely Stalinist like absolutely control of the Central Committee is ridiculous. Like, it's, I mean, for a group of people who accuse other people of being Stalinists, they have taken Joseph's fucking playbook perfectly.
I mean, to me, I made the joke on Novara on Thursday that it's very much like the last days of Khrushchev, where all the people trying to snipe at him are just kind of closing in on this tiny little group of sycophants around him, with nobody in the country liking him up until the moment of the deposition, right? Like, that's how it feels to me. But you're right, it is all of the accusations that were levied at Corbyn's faction at the top of the party, except it's actually true this time, whereas it wasn't true of Jeremy Corbyn. But I do think that he will be blocked from standing. Shabana Mahmood is the chair of the NEC. I don't think it's likely that they'll give him the dispensation, they'll get him on the shortlist. And even if he gets on the shortlist, the people of Gorton and Denton probably actually, in the constituency Labour Party, want to have someone who is a hard-working campaigner from their area and not the guy who wants to be Prime Minister. But regardless, right, the issue that I have is that the conflict that I mentioned is that if Burnham runs, I think he'll win. I actually think that, despite what the current polling looks like, Andy Burnham is so much more like a normal human being than all of the rest of the political class kind of combined.
And is genuinely personally popular in Manchester, being the mayor.
Exactly. That I think that he will bring people out to vote.
Yeah.
And vote for him specifically that a regular random nobody from the council wouldn't do. I think it's pretty much a shoo-in, even if there's like a triple way vote to his left and right of Reform, Galloway, and the Greens. I still think he'll win, and I don't think it will even be close as well. I think it'll be pretty comprehensive.
I think you're overplaying that. I think you're genuinely overplaying that. I think the unpopularity of the National Labour Party is such that I think it's perfectly possible that he wins. I don't think you see anything like the majority that they got at the general election. Not a chance.
I mean, no, I don't think it's gonna be like that. I think he'll probably get like 40%, something like that, whatever. But either way, him being in Parliament, obviously we all know, even though he's denied it, he's going to challenge Keir Starmer. He's doing it to support the government. It's obviously challenging for leadership because he's the only person with a positive approval rating in the Labour Party at this point.
And let's not forget, he was raised in the school of Blair versus Brown. Like, these people know the greasy pole and how it all operates. Let's not pretend he's like some outside player. No. He knows all about this. He was forged in the crucible of the new Labour era of like backsnabbing, sniping, fucking Alistair Campbell like briefing against people and stuff. Like, he knows all about that shit. Don't pretend. He's not some innocent small bean who's like, I just want to help the National Labour Party. Fuck off, Andy. Don't take us for fools.
Yeah, we all know that'd be total bullshit if he tried to claim otherwise, right? But, like, he would be better than Keir Starmer. Like, literally everyone knows that he would be a better Prime Minister, a better politician. He would be more popular. Yeah. On every single possible metric, he'd be better than Keir Starmer.
To be fair, though, there are types of cancer that would be better. You know what I mean?
Also very true.
So it's not a high bar to clear, but he does clear it pretty comfortably, yeah.
Yeah, and there would probably be a position. I mean, the current polling nationally says the Andy Burnham-led Labour probably would do better than Nigel Farage's Reform Party at general election. And so Burnham winning would be good for Labour, good for everyone who thinks that Reform is bad, and bad for the Green Party. It would be, in a purely hypothetical material situation, worse for the Greens because our pool of potential voters close because people will close ranks Andy Burnham,
Yes.
he's not so like politically toxic as Keir Starmer, that you would still vote for him tactically to stop reform.
Yes and no. You've got a couple of key variables that you can't really predict as of yet, but I think are interesting alternative hypothesis or historical hypothesis, whatever, for future timelines. Is that not only is he going to get into Parliament, which is a significant hurdle, but like I say, let's say he does. This is not even the new Labour Party anymore. This is the Keir Starmer purged Labour Party. There isn't really a massive left-wing vote in the PLP. The idea that he's going to get enough nominations that he could run is possible, but the idea that the purged Labour Party, both in terms of the Parliamentary Party and the National Party, would automatically choose him, as opposed to, not Rachel Reeves, but whoever, Bridget Phillips and whoever, fucking Wes Streeting, I don't know. But either way, I don't think it's like a shoo-in that he's going to be able to do that. And if he does, it's going to take 18 months to 2 years probably to pull that off, I would think, because he's not just going to walk in day one and do a challenge. You have to establish yourself and become a national figure and all the rest of it. And then we'll see whether he has the balls to bring him into cabinet or not. That would be an interesting move. Secondly, let's say he becomes Prime Minister. What's he actually going to be able to do? He's going to have a year to 18 months left of the term. You've just gone through 2 years of infighting in the Labour Party, which won't have helped their polling, for sure. And he's going to have to try and get progressive economic and social policy through a Labour Party that's full of people like fucking Shabana Mahmood. I just don't see him being able to turn around this ship. It's too late now. Like, if you wanted to do this, his chance was at last year's National Convention, when it looked like he may step forward and try and challenge and all the rest of it. That was the time to do it. Now I think it's too late for him to turn around. Even if all of those hurdles are cleared and he becomes Prime Minister, I don't think he has enough time or political opportunity to institute the policies necessary to turn that ship around. Now, they'll still do better just because he's not Keir Starmer. Literally, you could put a fucking corpse at the fucking dispatch box and he would do better polling than Keir Starmer would. And would have more fucking personality to them as well, I'm sure. But he's not going to have enough time, I think, to actually pull it back from the brink at this point. It's too late.
I mean, interesting polls coming up from Ben who say that Andy Burnham should be allowed to run as a candidate, according to Labour members, by like a 66% of 15, like a supermajority support him being allowed to run as the candidate. And in a potential leadership election, it's a 22-point margin in favour of Burnham with the current Labour membership as well. So, like, even the purged Labour membership still thinks that Burnham would be better than Starmer, which is crazy to think about, right?
It is absolutely crazy. I'm just saying, like, all of these hurdles exist, and I don't see that it's possible to clear all of them.
I mean, that's true. That's true.
That's the problem.
The other thing as well, like, people are pointing this out in chat, and I've been waiting to bring it up. The unknown quantity here, and the really important quantity, is George Galloway. Like, George Galloway will run in this by-election.
Yeah.
The Workers' Party did get like 8% of the vote in this seat. It's a totally different kettle of fish than Runcorn and Helsby, where it's like a 97% white constituency, and this is nowhere near a significant ethnic minority population in Gorton and Denton, in places like Longsight, right? Like, Longsight, big student area and big, heavily Muslim area as well. So there's going to be a lot of people mad about Gaza, a lot of people mad about him moving to the right. So the issue that there'll be is that even if the Greens do want to run and campaign in the seat, which obviously we will, I will be on the doorstep, I will be there day in, day out, hammering people's doors to get a Green Party candidate elected if there is no Burnham running. If Andy Burnham isn't running, I think that it's worth campaigning, but not like descending upon the area like a swarm of vultures, you know?
Okay, well, that's interesting. If he does run, will you campaign?
Maybe not as heavily. I probably should campaign because, I mean, at the end of the day, this is still a potential pickup for the Green Party at the next election anyway. So putting the feelers out to get people kind of agreeing that they should vote Greens now in an election, as you say, that doesn't matter in the long scheme of things, it's not going to change the government, then, you know, it is a vote that is worth trying to sow the seeds for initially, so that the next election that they can be, it's worth campaigning somewhat.
And
right?
they probably hold it at the same time as the councils as well, so that might be an interesting time in terms of Manchester's internal politics as well.
For sure. But the issue that I have is that, can the Greens even win if George Galloway runs. I don't think they can.
It's less
I think
likely. It's less likely for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like people are pointing out, I think it's 30% Muslim population in Gorton and Denton, and
But George Galloway doesn't care because Zach Polanski has been pro-trans, so he doesn't even see them as like left-wing. I don't think. Like fuck him. Yeah.
The issue, of course, is that, as has been pointed out by Ben, is even if Reform do win, as long as the Greens campaign hard enough, they come in second place. Anyone who bangs on about tactical voting to stop Reform in 2029, you force them, you railroad them essentially into voting Green.
Yeah.
Because you would say that the Labour vote is the split vote, just like it is in the Zenith right now, or indeed in Holyrood.
Yeah. To the person, Rachel in chat, does Galloway actually resonate with people of colour voters? Well, not necessarily black people or anything like that, but with Muslims especially. Muslims are the group he targets because of his history with like Arabs and the Arab countries.
Well, no, but he's done with the Arabs. He's finished defending the Arabs.
Well, he did, because in Syria they had Chinamen, a phrase he actually used to describe people from China who were Muslim who went to fight in Syria. Mental case. Anyway, yeah, but with his past and all the rest of it, right? He's always targeted that. That's why he did well and became MP in Bethnal Green and Bow, very Muslim area at the time. And in Bradford West, was it, when the last time he was in Parliament? Again, he goes to places where there are lots of Muslims, stirs up, I mean, some righteous anger in terms of like Gaza, but also plays on the idea, like, unfortunately, I mean, I don't like to bring it up as such, but Paxman was sort of right in the. He targeted Una King, not just because she was pro-Iraq war, but because she was a woman. And he could go to conservative people who are Muslims in that area and say, you shouldn't vote for a woman to be in power. He in his campaign used sexist language to campaign in that way. And he does
long
this.
tradition of doing this. So do you remember the clip from the 1997 election where the Tory candidate in Jack Straw's constituency drove around in a car with a big megaphone on top shouting Jack Straw is a Jew?
I do indeed remember that, yes. Yeah. A grim time, yeah.
I mean, that thing, but I do think there would be a pretty reasonable vote split when Galloway runs.
Yeah, I think Galloway's a forceful enough speaker, and like it does resonate with large Muslim population areas. I don't think he has any chance of winning. He's not going to pull off a surprise or anything, but he could definitely take enough to swing the vote. Yeah, and I don't think he gives two fucks either way. I don't think he cares. It wouldn't bother him if he elected or helped elect a Reform candidate. He wouldn't care less.
Yeah. For sure. I think the thing is, what I'm hoping for, the ideal situation for this by-election is that Burnham does get blocked, which I think is very likely. The Greens don't select Zach Polanski. Again, it's up to the constituency Green Party in Gorton and Denton. As you say, I think even though he has roots in the area, he's not actually been a resident of Manchester for 2 decades or something. Right? I get mad about my MP for Labour being a Lewisham councillor. Like, she was born in some other place in Nottingham, not this constituency, but close enough. But she spent 20 years in London as a Lewisham councillor. She has no connection to the area in any kind of...
It could be worse. Sense. My MP, Al Carnes, I don't think could find this with an area without a GPS. He's never been here. He's not from here. I don't think since he got elected he's returned at any point. Like, it's ridiculous. But he's the Veterans Minister. Brilliant. Thanks, Al. Please fuck off. You're going to lose the seat anyway, you cunt.
True. Very, very true. And that's the thing, right? Is that if we have a good candidate, I think Hannah Spencer, somebody pointed out in chat, I mean, she lives in West Manchester and this is an East Manchester seat, so that could lead to some tension. She's a councillor trying to run for in Hale, I believe, right? But even so, she's exactly the kind of person that we need in Parliament for the Green Party, because she's a northern plumber, right? Like, I hate to be all fucking idpol about this, but it'd be nice to have someone who is at the very least from the north representing the Green Party in Westminster.
Yeah, it would be good.
And if she were to run, and there was no Burnham running, and we could absolutely, again, the Green Party could just descend on Gorton and Denton to try and hammer these votes, because we have campaigners that Reform don't. That's the edge that we have, right? The Workers' Party of Britain have George Galloway as a particularly large figure, but not many campaigners because they're a meme party.
Yeah.
Reform UK have lots of members, but they're all geriatrics who wouldn't be able to actually door knock without collapsing. We have lots of members, and lots of members who still have, like, the motor functions of their legs. So we have the advantage of people power in this potential by-election, and people in the Labour faction who would be potentially burned by the NEC blocking Andy Burnham from standing could revolt and vote Green to teach Labour a lesson. And they're not voting for Galloway, and they're definitely not voting for reform if they're spurned Labour voters looking for a way to hurt the leadership.
Yeah.
So I think that that's the best situation. Burnham gets blocked. We run someone like Hannah in the constituency, again, at the behest of the actual members of that Green Party constituency, because those are the people who should decide it, not anyone in London or in Nottingham or in Birmingham or anywhere like that, right? And then if she or someone like her runs and wins, because we have the people power on the ground, that is the ideal situation. Maximum humiliation for Labour, maximum humiliation for Starmer specifically for blocking the only person who would win, and it would prove that we're the ones to challenge Labour's safe seats and not Reform. Because the worst part is if Reform wins, the national media narrative is, ooh, look at this, Reform winning not just in the Red Wall, not just in kind of leafy rural areas, but winning in inner cities, right? That's a really terrible headline to get. Like, we can't let Reform win this.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, yeah. Talking of the Green Party membership, Zach Polanski actually logged a tweet of mine today, talking about that. So I've got friends in high places. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you, but I'm just laughing that he does like quite a lot of tweets, and he genuinely he liked this genuine tweet of mine, which I thought was very funny. Let me find it. It was me responding to a Tory MP, Niall O'Brien. This is the tweet that Zach Polanski liked. Fuck off, Oxford PPE, dickhead. Your potato IQ macro policy is why the country is fucked.
Yeah, no. That honestly, that should be Zach. You're obviously listening, mate. We know you listen to every second. Put that on a poster. Seriously, I will pay out of my own pocket to have that on a big poster on a roundabout in the centre of Birmingham, because that would be fucking dope. I'm just saying, vote for us. We hate fucking PPE cunts.
So true. So my Prime Minister.
Exactly.
Marxist Chartist asks, how convinced are you that Andy Burnham will be blocked? I personally struggle to see it happening. I mean, all the reporting is saying that it's likely. NEC members are reporting to Jessica Elgar that there is zero chance for being selected. Like, the worst thing that could happen, really, is that if Burnham does get selected and he loses, they have to fight a whole mayoral election, that they could also lose that as well, right? If you are a member of the Starmer Politburo, again, you've got to remember, these people do not care about governance. They don't care about the good of the country. They care about their own pocketbook and their own factional party being in control. They have no material reason under their own auspices to want to let this guy on the ballot, because it could only lead to bad things happening. Yeah. If he wins, it's bad. If he loses, it's bad.
Yeah, exactly. Right? But it's whether they want to take the short-term hit of everyone knowing and all of the headlines saying that, oh, they're too scared of Burnham, if they decide not to select him. Do they want that on their book as well? I don't know, they probably do, because again, like you say, they don't really care about anything other than the factionalism. So why would they let anyone else from any other faction in? But what they're going to try and do, I think, is try and woke their way out of this. So they can say to their members, well, you may have wanted Burnham, but what's that? You don't want a black person in Parliament, you racialist. Or you don't want a all-woman shortlist. What are you, a misogynist? Like, they're going to try and do that. It's ridiculous.
God, it's the worst. It's honestly...
But what would be really funny... What would be really funny is if Burnham runs, right, is selected, loses, and then runs in the mayoralty by-election and wins. Fuck it. Go back. Like, the people of Manchester liked you anyway, so run as the candidate for the mayoralty again. Why not?
I mean, could you run for MP, win, immediately resign, run back as mayor, and go, look, I can win 3 elections, you can't even win 1?
Yeah, exactly. Look at me. I'm an election machine, motherfuckers. He just wants the speed run, winning every election. Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, it's... The worst possible thing that they could do is try and stop this guy through woke points, because everyone's already viewing the idea of positive discrimination as not a way of rejigging inequality, but a way of trying to usurp meritocracy, right? That's the right-wing perception of things like EDI and shortlists with specific demographics. That's their understanding of it. And this is just a total reification of their misunderstanding of what these things are for. It's the worst kind of cynicism that is being done in aid of factional warfare and is totally destroying the politics that they pretend to care about.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it's just bad for the country anyway. Yeah.
And also on top of this, it's worth pointing out, by the way, chat, Andy Burnham is not a panacea.
No.
This guy was praised by Conservative Home for his blueprint of NHS privatisation.
Oh yeah,
Like-
look, he was a fucking a member of the cabinet under Tony Blair. He's defended the Iraq War. He's still a gobshite. He's just the current leadership of the Labour Party is so bad that fucking Beelzebub could run, and I'd vote for that cunt instead.
And like his Manchesterism manifesto that he posted in the Guardian, essentially having the 4 pillars of why the UK has failed, being deindustrialisation, privatisation, deregulation, and austerity. And this is a really comprehensive understanding of the biggest failures of this country, is those kind of austerity politics and neoliberal politics being a big failure. The problem, of course, is that what's his actual remedy in government for doing this? Like, his remedy for it in Manchester, okay, he's refranchised the buses.
He's done some just basic social democracy, which again would be a massive
Yeah.
improvement, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like, one of his best policies has been housing market deregulation, i.e., he just said, yeah, fucking build shit.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is, build shit. Get houses, right? Which is why people are moving from London to Manchester, because you can afford the housing in Manchester, which you can't do in London because Andy Burnham builds houses, right?
Yeah.
Like, but and again, I think there would be better ways of doing this. But at the very least, he's noticed problems and wants to solve them, which is more than what you can say for anyone in the current cabinet, apart from Ed Miliband.
Well, this is how bad the current government are nationally, that just having a person who thinks the government can do things, not even like, I don't even care so much about the policy, just having a person who believes the government can and should do things is better than what we currently have, which is a bunch of placeholder losers who basically think that government is the problem. They're Reaganites in totality, right? They don't actually want or think the government should do anything to change things, to improve the situation. What you should do is just say, we've improved the situation, and people will just believe you.
That's the thing, right? And it reminds me so much of Zohar Mamdani in the reason why the Democrat establishment hate him is because he is proof that government can do good things.
Yeah.
You can't just sit on the gravy train at the top of the Democratic Party with Mamdani posting slick videos about all the good things that he's doing, which of course is the same with Andy Burnham. As soon as Andy Burnham becomes Prime Minister, does basic like normal policy that improves people's lives on a kind of rudimentary level, he'll immediately show up for the last 18 months as the giant fucking failure that it was, right? So this is an important story. This is an important story.
It is, absolutely. It pulls aside the uni-parties, sort of, it pulls back the curtain that the uni-party have placed in the way of reality, of saying the government can't do anything. And if everyone just in Westminster or Washington or wherever just says, yeah, we can't do anything, then people get lulled into thinking we can't do anything. And then Mamdani comes along and says, no, look behind the curtain, we can do these things. And then he does those things, and everyone's like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Just basic shit like childcare places.
Building toilets.
Building
public toilets.
Did you see the attack on Mamdani? They're like, oh, he wants to have a bidet placed in the mayoral house or whatever the fuck it's called. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you're attacking him for having an arse that's too clean? Is that actually your attack line? Is he's got an ass crack that's too fucking hygienic? Really? That's... I mean, I knew they had nothing, but they've got literally nothing on him. He must be a fucking angel.
But yeah, he shows up like the absolute failure of the do-nothing Democrats in the same way that Andy Burnham shows up the failure of the do-nothing Labour establishment, right? I was talking to Matt Zarb-Cousin on the podcast on Wednesday.
Oh,
podcast! On when he's talking about how in the run-up to the 2019 general election, James Schneider was talking about this, and people like Andrew Fisher, who were kind of policy directors in the background for the manifesto, they had whole documents of policy directives and how they should be implemented, all the different bits and pieces to go together on how to implement these bits of policy, all ready to go so they could get into government on day one, hand these bits of paper to the civil service and go, this is what you need to do to implement our policy straight away, right? And the Labour Party currently, the adults in the room, quote unquote, have done none of this, apart from Ed Miliband. None of this. They've not done any of this. They've just gone into government and go, I guess we do good things, not bad things. Civil service, KPMG. Please help me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a freshman fucking cabinet member. Like, you're supposed to spend 5 years in opposition preparing for fucking government, and you spent it excising the left and doing nothing.
Yep.
And this is the reality. Is that Andy Burnham, again, neither of us are considering him to be some kind of messiah or even a panacea or even necessarily anything more than just another social liberal kind of third way Blairite politician. But he has the actual guts to go out there and go, I would like to do good policy for the sake of things. And this is so far beyond the realms of the current adults in the room. He looks competent in comparison.
Yeah. Amazing. What's this? Scotland? Scotland sends baby bucks to New York after Mayor Mamdani cites the policy. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool. New York's new Mayor Zoran Mamdani has received a baby box from the Scottish Government after modelling part of his election campaign on Edinburgh's example of providing each expectant mother with a set of essentials. Oh, so they're literally like, oh, this is the policy. Yeah, do this. That's fucking dope. See, that's what we need. International fucking solidarity. A good idea is a good idea no matter where it is.
Why do you think the SNP keep winning? They keep just doing basic bare bones policy that makes people happy.
Yeah.
And like, doesn't matter if they're a shit show. It doesn't matter if John Swinney's a charisma vacuum. It doesn't matter if they have a psychodrama where their most famous leadership candidate gets fucking interviewed under caution and her husband arrested. Right? Like, none of this matters because when it comes to an actual vote, they go, well, do we get rid of the people who've been implementing policy that makes people happy to replace them with the fucking
Anas Sawa?
yeah, Anas Sawa. Right? Like,
again,
yeah, of course they're not going to.
Again, is Satan running? Because I'd vote for him over Anas Sawa. Because at least Satan will say, I am evil. Whereas Anas Sawa's like, read my lips, no more austerity. And then sucks the dick of austerity. Ridiculous. Oh, anyway, let's not go into it.
But yeah, again, like, it's just basic levels of success for the SNP. Before we get to question time, there was one article that I want to go through with you because I think it's very funny and it kind of ties into what we were talking about before. But I think it's worth covering, maybe not in full, but at the very least getting enough to get a segment out of it because it's genuinely hilarious. One of the things that's included in this article.
Yeah, by all means. Okay. I'm from the Huffington Post. Let's have a look. Oh yes, no, I did see the story going around about this. Let me have a look. By the way, Zach, I know you're listening, mate. Cracking video the other day. The party election broadcast was fucking beautiful.
It was so good, wasn't it?
That's like, well, I mean, it was sort of about that he liked my tweet. I was responding to Mike from PA. Going,
Michael from Pennsylvania.
Please, will you not dox him? That's outrageous. Yes. Anyway. Am I sharing that with you now? Can you see that? No. Okay, we'll do it again. We'll do it again.
I tell you what. I've got the article open on my end, so I can just scroll through as you read through.
Okay. Exclusive. Keir Starmer orders Labour to ramp up attacks on Green Party. The Prime Minister has privately told Number 10 allies they must train their fire on Zach Polanski's party. I mean, firstly, belter. This is good. This is good news, isn't it? Like the fact that he now knows that there is a threat to his left will change policy and has already changed policy to a degree. I think the 2-child benefit cap is because he knows the Greens are a threat.
100%, exactly. The reality is that every single person who hammered people into trying to tactically vote for Labour rather than vote with their conscience for the Green Party at the last election, they're understanding what happens when you don't do that. Yeah. When you threaten these people with electoral consequences, it actually is an issue for the Labour Party, and they will have to take you seriously. Whereas if you say you'll vote for them forever, they will try and court the votes of people who have the opposite views to you.
True. But the thing is, it'd be interesting if they ever had a go at them on policy. But all you're going to hear is hypnoboob for the next 18 months. That's all they've got. It's hypnoboob. Hypnoboob is very much the British. Your arse is too clean. You know?
It very much is, yeah. I can't believe they've installed a bidet. And on top of this, they'll also say something NATO, even though Zach Polanski's been proved absolutely 100% correct with his NATO takes.
Yeah, didn't the fucking head of NATO, or not head of NATO, but the head of the country that runs and is NATO, just threaten us for daring to say, don't invade another NATO country, please? Why the fuck? That's not an alliance. That's an abusive relationship. Anyway, yeah. Labour is to ramp up attacks on the Greens amid growing alarm in Downing Street at the rise in support for Zach Polanski's party. HuffPost UK can reveal that the Prime Minister has told Number 10 allies in recent weeks that they need to start training their fire on the Greens' quote-unquote extreme policies as a crunch elections loom in May. It comes as polling shows Labour is losing more votes to parties on the left of British politics than they are to Reform UK. Okay, time out.
Which is weird, because I was being told for ages by the mainstream media that this was all about Labour versus Reform, and that they were going to lose the Red Wall, they're going to lose Sunderland because of all the historic Labour voters voting for Reform. And of course, that's not the case. There was just a big split in the vote between Reform and Tory at the last election, and that's now corralling behind Reform.
And all of the polling has suggested that for all of the racism, for all of the island of strangers, for all of the we're going to steal rings and mobile phones from migrants, they haven't won any votes from Reform at all.
Not a single one.
Like, literally what we already said. You're desperately trying to win votes you cannot possibly win by eviscerating votes that you already had.
I mean, Keir Starmer's approval rating amongst Reform UK voters is -93.
I'm surprised it's that high. What the fuck? The 7 people, or 7%, that like him, or think he's at least neutral. Who the fuck are they? What Reform voter doesn't absolutely despise this creature? Like, don't get me wrong, I hate him too, but for different reasons. But like, from your perspective, he's literally like, it's so bizarre, the campaign strategy. We're going to be really racist, but we're also going to be like, we should rejoin the European Union maybe, or something. Common market, anyone? Like, what's the point of the racism? What, you're not going to win those fucking people back? What are you talking
And even
about?
then, there's probably a reasonably large contingent of these people who aren't even actually that racist, but do really genuinely care about being outside of the EU for God knows whatever reason, and you're losing all of these people.
Yeah, like you've the 7% who have never heard of him, probably. Yeah, that's the 7% who are like, I've heard of Nigel Farage and will vote for him, but I don't know who the Prime Minister is. Yeah, I get that. I get that. For the Americans, can we watch the party election broadcast? Yeah, I mean, I've got no problem with that. We can post that in a bit. Yeah. But we'll get through this first, because we're only an hour in and we haven't even started. Anyway. The Greens have enjoyed a surge in popularity since Polanski was elected last September. Has it really been that long now? Good God. But the Prime Minister believes the public remains largely unaware of the party leader's opposition to the UK's membership of NATO, or his support for giving up the country's nuclear weapons, or hypno-boob.
And it's also worth pointing out, right, that the positions on NATO and on nuclear weapons are pretty much part of the same policy prospectus of de-Yankification. Because the point that Zach Polanski made very cogently, first of all, on NATO, is that Trump is an unreliable ally. Everyone admits this. Like, we are seeing LBC and BBC headlines going, is the age of NATO over? Well, Zach Polanski was right too early about that one. And with regards to nuclear weapons, they're leased from the United States, who are threatening to invade Greenland.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have an independent nuclear deterrent. And if we are thinking about the US as a threat, which increasingly the UK public are, like, to the same level that they view China as a threat, and the China threat level is massively reducing if you look at polling as well, the idea that that high level threat should be in control of our, like, weapons of mass destruction, that's not security. That's not a secure defensive relationship.
All you have to say is, should our foreign policy be dictated by the whims of the American electorate?
And not just the whims of the American electorate at large, the whims of 20,000 people in Waukesha County, Wisconsin, who got mad about trans people playing volleyball.
It's Waukesha.
Is it?
It's pronounced Waukesha. And I know that
Waukesha.
because Christy Winters was a Democratic Party something in Waukesha County like 20 years ago.
Well, there you go. Me, I pronounced it like AAVE rather than
Yeah, indeed.
as Native American language.
It could be worse. It could be worse. For a long time, I thought it was pronounced Decatur, but it's Decatur.
Indeed, indeed. Reminds me of that bit in the History Boys where the guy pronounces Nietzsche as Nietzsche.
Yeah, again, stupid. Nietzsche's name is like someone trying to take the piss in Scrabble. Like you've got Z's and S's and Nietzsche. What does it mean? It's a type of cheese. Yeah, it's a real word.
But yeah, I mean, but broadly, I think that the point that Zach Polanski was making is that you cannot trust the US as a reliable ally, whether he renewed Trident or not. And I don't think that there's necessarily a good reason for continuing to do that when we could be spending more on cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Whether we do that or not, the current system of having all of our nuclear weapons leased by the country that we view as a country as being a very large threat is not a good idea.
Yeah, no one's invading us, whether we have nuclear weapons or not. Really, it's not realistic. And secondly, if we're being told constantly we're too broke to invest in anything, where are we getting this money from for all these nuclear weapons? Like, what is it we're defending as a nation with these nuclear weapons? We need to nuclear arm our nation of food banks. No, how about we have something worth defending, and if we've got a little bit left over, then we can have some nukes as a treat.
Quite so, quite so. And the thing as well is that I'm not necessarily opposed to increasing defense spending if it's actually for defense, right?
Well, exactly,
Most people describe defense spending when what they mean is invasion spending, right? But if it's actually defense spending, again, things like cybersecurity, I'm not against that. But if we're going to be defending a country that's owned by oligarchs, maybe the oligarchs that own the stuff should pay for defending the stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, in many respects, America changing its name from the Ministry of Defense to the Ministry of War is actually much more honest, because America doesn't have a defensive military. Like, I remember still being shocked when I heard about the Iranians firing on a US Coast Guard ship. And I was like, what the fuck? They had a ship near Florida or something. What the fuck was that? No, the US Coast Guard was operating in the Straits of Hormuz.
Yes, yeah, it's very
in
funny.
Saudi Arabian water. And I'm like, motherfucker, that's not the US coast. What are you doing there? That's not defensive. You're 6,000 miles from any bit of American coast. You're not Coast Guard. The fuck is this? The US Coast Guard means the coast of the US, not every bit of coast.
By the way, I'm just going to restart the stream. My YouTube stream's gone down, so I just need to restart.
Fair
so that means
enough.
I'm going to have to stop the recording, go live again, and then restart the recording, and then stitch them together when I inevitably make this a segment, because there's a really funny part of this, which I think is going to make could be a good hook for content. Right. Let me just go confirm and go live.
There you go. Give us money, by the way, so that we can get better tech or something.
I mean, I might actually just install Linux and run this in an emulator for Windows, because like apparently I was learning online before that this one thing that's funny is that software has so much leakage now because the hardware is so powerful no one notices. So if you actually run good quality software without leakages on it, i.e. on Linux, apparently that means it literally feels like you're running a supercomputer, because it's optimized software and optimized hardware rather than hardware that's optimized to run shitty software that no one's bothered to optimize yet.
You're a nerd.
I'm a nerd. It's
You're
true.
a nerd.
It's true.
Thank you for the bits, Dr. Phil.
Right.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
YouTube. Let me just double check my live stream over on the YouTubes. Apparently we are back. Perfect. Okay, I will click the second record and we'll pick up where we left off.
Thank you, Baron von Cockslap. Amazing name. Much love. Where were we? We got to nuclear weapons. At Prime Minister's questions on Wednesday, Starmer accused the Greens of being, quote, high on heroin, soft on Putin, unquote. Which, by the way, was like the shittest line ever. But didn't answer the question, which shouldn't be surprising, given that it's Keir Starmer at Prime Minister's questions and he never answered the question. But he was asked quite a specific question about farming-friendly river practices by Ellie Chowns. A good question about agriculture. And he went, drugs. Oh, you do the drugs? And sat down.
I mean, Kevin, you do not understand, right, the rhetorical skill of the adults in the room.
Well, honestly, you know what it felt like? It felt a little bit like student politics.
it's so funny, isn't it? Every accusation is a confession from these people.
Every single one of them.
Sometimes maybe good,
Every single
sometimes
time.
maybe
It's just like,
shit.
oh, well, you don't take politics seriously. You just snipe at people. I'm like, that's literally Keir Starmer and PM.
Yeah, literally.
Every single day.
Exactly. The student politics of us going, drugs and Putin, and sitting down. When you ask a very serious question about fucking agriculture.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes
And
maybe
people,
shit.
even people who hate the Greens, even people who love Keir Starmer, even people who have no concern over river-friendly farming practices would look at what happened there and go, that guy's a fucking idiot, he's not answering the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Thank you, Von Isa, for resubscribing. And thank you to Jesus Christ, Bilderberg, for 10 memberships on the YouTube. Honestly, I will suck you dry. I'm just saying. Labour is also expected to target the Greens' record on anti-Semitism after Deputy Leader Mothin Ali was criticised over comments he made about Zachariah Deutsch, a Leeds-based rabbi and Israeli Defence Force reservist. I don't know that story.
I mean, he just rightly called out someone who's a reservist for a genocidal army as supporting genocide. Like, you don't get to be a member of the IDF and defend that. You can't. It's indefensible.
Yeah. So it's very much like the MP that was banned, not for being Jewish, but for being a defender of the IDF and being married to a member of the IDF and so on and so on and so on. It's about the politics. It's nothing to do with them being Jewish.
100%, 100%. But it's hilarious, right? It's absolutely hilarious that apparently the Labour Party strategy for getting one over on the Green Party is to call the party that voted overwhelmingly in Assad-level numbers at their leadership election for a Jewish man.
Yes, yeah, the massive majority of the huge number of anti-Semites who wanted Zach Polanski as leader. Because if you remember, there's one thing about Nazis is they love voting for Jews. Clearly.
It's true. And the thing is that he's somebody who is not just Jewish, but somebody whose name, as you pointed out, sounds very Jewish, specifically because he changed it to preserve his Jewish ancestry, given that he fled anti-Semitism in Europe and wanted to protect. And his family changed his name from his historic name to protect from anti-Semitism in the UK.
And that's a thing that a lot of families have done, and very few people go back on. I mean, little known fact, John Bercow, the former Speaker, order! His family were originally Berkowitz. They were in the same situation. They escaped anti-Semitism in Europe in the mid-20th century and changed their name to Bercow to sort of fit in, because Berkowitz, very Jewish-sounding name at the time. And so they're just the Bercows now. That's a lot of families did this, you know. Donald Trump's family famously were Drumpf. They weren't a Jewish family, but they wanted to anglicise their names to fit in. It's a thing that a lot of families do. And Zach Polanski, proud of his Jewish heritage, said, "No, fuck that noise. I'm Polanski." Good man. And the party knew that and voted for him. But the Labour Party are going to attack them as anti-Semites. So in hock to Israel are they?
Well, again, that's the problem, is that it doesn't matter whether your leader is Jewish. It's not the right type of Jew, is he?
Yeah, which ironically is phenomenally anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very much so, very much so. Yeah. Again, like, this is what was crazy, is that the government's anti-Semitism advisor, John Mann, who is not Jewish, went on for a fucking giant tirade at Zach Polanski on Twitter for his position on Israel, basically trying to condemn him as some kind of anti-Semite, despite being the only Jewish major party leader in this country.
True. Where? Under his leadership... Sorry, hang on. No. Zach, hang on.
A government source.
Oh, yeah, there we are. Sorry. A government source told I'll start that fucking sentence again. A government source told HuffPost UK, quote, "The honeymoon is over for Zach Polanski's party." I'll just break in and say, it's okay. They're going to have a reset. Oh, burn!
Well, it's also funny for anyone from the Labour Party to have a go at anyone for having a honeymoon. There was no honeymoon period for the government. They got into office and then were hated.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you're jealous of the fact that we had a honeymoon period and you didn't. Maybe don't be so spiteful about it.
Yeah. Because Zach Polanski didn't do the first thing of going like, oh, fuck it, should we freeze old people? That wasn't the first thing he did when he got in, unlike Keir Starmer.
No.
Just saying. Beyond the social media soundbites, there are some scary policies that need to be exposed. Under his leadership, the Greens have become a hotbed of anti-Semitism and economic incompetence that would make Britain defenceless, drug-addled and bankrupt within a week.
It's like that Daily Mail article about Jeremy Corbyn where they did like the 100-day fan fiction.
Oh, I love it. I haven't
again,
heard the
it's like-
phrase drug-addled in quite some time. That's beautiful. Love it.
I mean, it's just so funny to me, like how they think our position is get everyone in Britain high, and the idea that again somehow we're a hotbed of anti-Semitism whilst also massively being in favour of having a Jewish prime minister is just the dumbest thing you've ever heard.
Yeah, amazing. Anti-Semites definitely want a Jewish prime minister, 100%. Also, would leave Britain defenceless because apparently nuclear weapons are our only defence. How did we defend ourselves for the 1,000 years before nuclear weapons were invented, I wonder? Crazy. Drug-addled, again, I mean, you supporting the existence of pubs doesn't mean you like alcoholism. Stop being fucking stupid. And bankrupt within a week. I mean, don't threaten me with a good time.
To be fair, they probably do like alcoholics because those are people who pay a lot of alcohol duty. If they spent their money on anything else, they'd be paying less tax.
True.
Well, that's true. As Solly points out in chat, though, according to the Labour Party, if you don't freeze Granny, there'll be a run on the pound.
Well, the actual core of some of the problems with these like U-turns that they have is that they try and oversell it so much to sell these terrible policies that it gets exposed to how hollow it all was when they then go, nah, we don't need to do that, actually. Like, oh, we need ID cards, otherwise all of the foreigners are going to take your jobs. And then they go, no, you don't need that. So, what I mean, either you are happy for foreigners to take all of our jobs, or that was never the point in the first place, was it, Mr. Starmer? And you were lying to the entire country.
Well, it's just so incredibly transparent how much all of this is subterfuge and artifice, and the government think that the public are stupid. They think the public are just monumental fucking cretins who don't know what's going on, and actually, we're the least kind of base level perceptive to understand when someone's trying to pull the wool over our eyes.
Yeah, amazing shit, amazing. They're not as nice as they seem, and voters need to know what's hidden under the surface before it's too late.
Literally making it sound like a fucking operation, like a special operation, right?
Yeah.
Like
Exactly, it's the Trojan horse. Underneath the nice, gap-toothy smile of Zach Polanski lies Britain's destruction. A senior Labour insider added, quote, under Polanski, they are not the warm, fuzzy environmentalists they used to be. Time out. This is the reason I love the Green Party. Because it's not just the politics of spite that like they annoy the right people, although that is certainly a nice element of it. It's that they're now not seen as pathetic. The reason that I didn't like the Green Party before wasn't just that I had disagreements on policy, because I still have disagreements on policy, but I've joined the Green Party now. And the reason is because the kind of right-wing wankers that used to be like, oh, good Green Party, pat them on the head, because they were pointless. They were just, again, it was, the old line about environmentalism without socialism is just fucking gardening, right? That's the point, is that they were completely toothless. They were just nice, fuzzy, like, oh, nice green environmentalists. They're no threat to the Uni Party in Westminster. Whereas now, all of a sudden, they're like, they're not warm and fuzzy at all. Oh, no, they're a threat to our establishment. Wah! And I love that. That's perfect.
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
reaction I need from anyone for me to ever get behind them, is to have the wankers at Westminster genuinely scared.
100%. And the reality is, of course, is that you shouldn't be a nice, warm, fuzzy environmentalist. You should be a belligerent environmentalist, because the climate crisis is the fucking most imminent threat that the world faces.
Exactly, yeah. It's not warm and fuzzy to oppose people losing their fucking houses because the sea levels rise and most people in the world live within 50 miles of the coast. It's a fucking disaster waiting to happen. The only planet we have is being destroyed by 100 companies. Maybe we ought to fucking stop them.
Yep.
You know?
100%, exactly.
Yes, exactly, before the sea becomes warm and fuzzy. True. Yeah. Fantastic bit of spin I saw on that, by the way. The US, you know, all this talk about Greenlanders. You can cut this bit out of the video, but I just thought it was funny. All this stuff about, like, oh, we want to take over Greenland to secure the Arctic and blah, blah, blah. And one of the US commentators was going on about because of global warming, there's going to be increased navigability of the Arctic Sea, which is going to open up trade routes across. So basically, the fact that the ice cap is going to fucking disappear, which is a disaster for the Earth, is going to open shipping lanes across the North Pole. Brilliant. I mean, well done on selling us that as a good thing. As if that's going to, as if Earth is going to be livable for those shipping lanes once the fucking ice cap's completely gone. You pricks.
Well, I mean, never let a good disaster go to waste.
A disaster tunity. Let's go.
It's so true, so true.
Anyway, they want to ban landlords. I'm going to stop you right there. Perfect. Honestly, Zach, if you ever want, mate, you can have me. Let's fucking go.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, this was a collective decision of the Green Party membership proposed by Alexander Salins. You probably have them to thank.
Well, they can all fucking have me then. I don't care. You can use me like a fucking cum sock, Green Party. I don't care. They want to ban landlords, but legalise drugs. So under the Greens, you'd be able to take heroin, but not rent a flat.
I mean, you'll be able to rent a flat.
We don't want to get rid of housing. You can rent a flat from the fucking council, you prick. Oh,
which was the mainstream policy of both the Labour and Conservative Party in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, until like 1981 or something. Yeah, fuck's sake.
Literally.
Look, if you ban landlords, the landlords don't keep the houses. What are you talking about?
Kevin, if the landlord goes, the house disappears into the ether.
Yeah, well, think about all the land it's going to free up to build houses on. Look at it that way. Ridiculous.
True. And therefore, all of the developers who donate to the Labour Party can get their pound of flesh.
Exactly. Sorry. So anyway, we're all taking heroin in the flat we don't rent from the landlord who stole the house or something. Okay.
Also, it's worth pointing out the policy isn't actually to ban landlordism; it's to essentially regulate and tax it so much it's unaffordable to be a landlord.
Yeah, treat landlordism the same way you've treated alcoholism and smoking. They're socially deleterious, so you make them so expensive that they become not worth doing.
Yeah.
Okay. And what would they do to defend Greenland if they had pulled the UK out of NATO? Hang on, time out. What the fuck has NATO done to defend Greenland? It's a fucking NATO country that wants to invade Greenland.
That's the dumbest position you've ever heard, right?
What the fuck is NATO are the problem? What are you talking about? What the fuck has NATO done for Denmark, who's currently being threatened over land that it shouldn't have anyway because the people of Greenland want independence? But regardless of that, it's a part of fucking the Kingdom of Denmark, and America's just like, no, we're going to steal that shit. And NATO, what the fuck is NATO going to do? Again, unless it ends up in the refractory Article 5 the thing where America invades Denmark, so Denmark and everyone else has to declare war on America for invading a NATO country, and because all those countries declared war on America, all of them have to declare war on each other as well, because they've just declared war on a NATO nation, and it just goes round and round forever until the fucking world ends.
The second part of this quote that they're saying here is like, well, if we got rid of Trident, and I'm just like, if we got rid of Trident, right, that would make it harder for America to threaten Greenland. Yeah. Because they are the ones who control our nuclear terrain. Yeah. And if they want to use it on Denmark to get Greenland, they could fucking do it. It's their fucking nuclear weapons.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Whenever a dickhead calls it an independent nuclear threat, they're lying to you. It isn't.
Yep. 100%. And also they're pointing out, they're saying, well, would you drift over in a dinghy waving a white flag? What? Well, I wonder how we dealt with defence before both NATO and the advent of nuclear weapons. Nameless Labour Party insider. And conventional defence is still a thing.
Yep.
That's what Ukraine have been doing against Russia. They're not a NATO member and they don't have nukes.
Also, when it comes to defending our interests, I would point you in the direction of a thing called the Cod Wars. A little known fact that people don't go into because it wasn't really a war as such, between the United Kingdom and Iceland, two NATO nations, during the 1970s, I think it was. It happened a couple of times. The Icelandic government wanted to increase the radius of coastal waters that it owned. And the UK went, no, we fish in those waters. You can't just fucking unilaterally decide to expand that shit. And boats started ramming into each other. It was terrible. Thankfully, no one died. It wasn't a real war. And Iceland went running to Daddy America and went, oh, the UK's being a dickhead. If you don't do what we say, we'll leave NATO. And Iceland, geostrategically, very important because there wasn't like global satellite communication at the time. So they needed bases in Iceland, NATO bases, in order to lock the USSR's submarines in the North Sea. Not North Sea, the Arctic Sea, and not let them out into the Atlantic. And so America forced Britain, against the will of the British government, to cede to all of the interests of the Icelandic government. And they did it again and again, to the point where there is now British territory, technically, in the form of Rockall, I think it is, in Icelandic territory, because they just went mental and just decided to massively expand their fishing territories. And NATO didn't fucking defend us. NATO were the problem. NATO doesn't look after our interests. It looks after the interests of the United States solely.
Yep.
Always has, always will.
The only triggering of Article 5 happened when the US had a fucking temper tantrum after 9/11. And I don't mean...
And it wasn't even
to
attacked
equate-
by a country. They weren't invaded. It was a fucking terrorist attack.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you wanted to blame a country for that, you'd blame Saudi Arabia. Interesting they fucking didn't.
It's crazy how much Saudi Arabia can get away with, isn't it? Well, that's
It's almost
funny.
like they've
My
got
favourite-
all of the oil and will happily sell it.
My favourite 9/11 moment, which is a sentence that really hear very often.
Again, Navarra Media host loves 9/11. Front page of the Mail tomorrow.
But during the election campaign for Zohran Mamdani, right? They tried to get Mamdani for being friends with Hassan Piker because Hassan said that America
Yeah,
deserved 9/11.
well, the fantastic sentence asked him at one of the debates, will you condemn Hamas and Hassan Piker? As if they were the same fucking thing. As if they were...
Piker.
Hamas Piker, yeah.
Well, the funny bit was Hassan was commenting on it and said, whoa. Fucking Andrew Cuomo has killed more New Yorkers than Mohammed Atta.
True. 100% true. Fucking Kurt Sleewer has. Actually, that's not true. Also, he was funny as fuck, that guy. He was amazing. Literally, he's worn a beret so long he's got a fucking tan line on his forehead.
Incredible scenes.
Beautiful.
Andrew Cuomo is a creep, slapping fannies and killing grannies.
Oh, have I still got that? Oh no, I took it off the fucking soundboard.
Well, it's not really relevant, is it?
It's not. Well, that's the thing. Along with there's a few other New York-based ones that I took off because like there isn't an election there now, so it's not a thing. But yeah. Anyway, Starmer has been accused by those on the left of the Labour Party. Time out. There is no such thing. There is no left of the Labour Party. What are you talking about? They're a bird with two right wings.
Hence why they keep going in circles.
True. You have to U-turn somehow. Yeah. Been accused by the left of the Labour Party of moving too far to the right in pursuit of voters who have switched to Reform UK since the general election in 2024. But Lewis O'Guerin, senior associate at More in Common, said Labour were losing the same amount of support, around 10%, to the Greens as they are to Nigel Farage's party.
I mean, that's only one pollster. Basically, every other pollster shows more drift from Labour to Green than Labour to Reform.
And more importantly, those that are moved to the Green Party could potentially be won back by a better leader by the Labour Party, whereas those that have gone to Reform aren't really coming back, I don't think.
No.
You know. The biggest shift we've seen is in the Greens have caught up with the Lib Dems as the main destination for Labour defectors on the left, he told HuffPost UK. In the first year of the Labour government, they were consistently losing more voters to the Lib Dems, but Zach Polanski becoming leader, they're consistently losing at least as many to the Greens. It seems like rather than passively absorbing left-leaning voters, Polanski has now gone on the attack against Labour. To be fair, I don't think he's just passively absorbing. He literally, his acceptance speech, he said, we don't want to... we don't want to fight Labour, we want to take over from them, or whatever the phrase was.
Replace them,
Replace them, that was the word, yeah. Like, he's not been passive at any point about this. But anyway.
No, 100%. Also, I would take issue with the idea of defecting to the Lib Dems by moving leftwards.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of... well, to be fair, what's happened is that they haven't moved left, is that the Labour Party have moved right, and they've fallen off the back of the lorry onto the Lib Dems, who have just been exactly where they were. You know, Lib Dems haven't moved. A Green Party source said, quote, Starmer is clearly running scared of Zach Polanski. Labour's 2024 vote is drifting rapidly to the Greens, and its attempts to woo back Reform voters have been a total flop. True. O'Geran also revealed that the Greens now lead Labour among so-called progressive activist left-wing voters by 12 points, as if there are any people who describe themselves that way that would vote Labour.
I know, right?
Anyway, a complete shift from during the election campaign. More in Commons polling shows that voters who are struggling financially are shifting to both the Greens and Reform, with Labour's vote share now highest amongst those who are comfortably off. Yeah, just the upper class party now, yeah.
Yeah, like they've killed the Labour part of the Labour Party.
Yeah. And it's not surprising, that polling from More in Common, considering the very obvious fact that in extreme times, people move left and right. There is no point, like, trying to sell status quo politics to people who are struggling is just a non-starter. People
have no stake in the status quo.
Exactly. That was the problem with Brexit. You can't sell status quo to people who hate the status quo. Ridiculous. He said, quote, younger voters in particular are turning to the Greens. They feel that no matter how hard they work, they can't afford to save money or get on the property ladder. They believe the social contract isn't working and that Labour haven't really tackled that since they got into power. True. All completely fucking true, yes. Young female voters... Young female voters also flocking to the Greens, O'Geran said, with 34% of those in Generation Z, or Z as it should be, de-yankification for the win, backing the party, compared to just 22% who still support Labour. And while this is unlikely to lead to a significant rise in the number of Green MPs at the next election, citation needed, the split in the left-of-centre vote could hand Reform a significant number of seats across the country. What kind of propagandist shite is this?
It's Kevin Schofield. Guy's been a Labour right kind of apparatchik for ages. Well, it's funny though. I think that it's just wrong, this idea that it won't lead to a rise in the number of.
But exactly,
MPs.
yeah.
It will.
This
right?
is bollocks, yeah.
There are a lot of constituencies in this country with pretty young demographics in inner cities where Labour are going to get absolutely hammered.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. This is fucking Labour Party slop, that entire stanza. Nonsense. This theory could soon be put to the test in the Gorton and Denton by-election, and for Americans watching, that's a real place. It sounds made up, like Gorton and Denton, like it's from the fucking Lord of the Rings or some shit, but it's real. Which has been triggered by the retirement on medical grounds of former Labour Minister Andrew Gwynn MP. Time out. Medical grounds? Sure it wasn't the fact that his emails were revealed where he wished death upon a constituent for asking about the bins? Or was actually quite anti-Semitic towards one member of his constituency?
Well, they say it's just all men's mental health, isn't it? Which is infuriating, because men's mental health is a real problem, and it only gets brought up in popular discourse because of men who've done bad shit trying to pretend that it's because of their mental health and not because they're a cunt.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's a terrible person.
Yeah, exactly. The same as
Did he lose the whip? I hope he did.
He did, yeah. It's like when Christian Calgi, the Express journalist, publicly called for Zara Sultana's deportation and went, "Oh, I'm having mental health problems. Fuck off."
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the mental health problems are a real thing. I don't know that being a cunt is a symptom, though.
Quite.
Just saying, because loads of us are mentally ill and we don't go around being very, very racist to people. Just saying. Oh yeah, no, I already read that bit. Polling suggests the seat is now a three-way marginal with only a few points separating Labour, Reform and the Greens. While number 10 tries to block Andy Burnham from being the Labour candidate, Zach Polanski is considering running for the Greens. Were Burnham not to stand, could left-of-centre voters in the constituency, which has been a Labour seat in various guises since the 1930s, rally round Polanski to keep Reform out? A Green Party spokesperson said, Starmer is right to be worried. Polling shows the Greens are the leading party for under 50s, and we are taking more and more of the Labour vote every day. But the Labour government's strategy of U-turns and trying to mimic Reform has failed spectacularly. The choice is simple for Labour. Keep siding with big business and ignoring the cost of living crisis that is impacting voters, or face up to why people are choosing the Greens, because we speak for issues facing our communities and not wealthy corporations.
Based. Imagine if the thing is, when you're talking before about how people now have to take the Green Party seriously because they don't act nicey anymore,
Yeah.
this kind of rhetoric from spokespeople is just so perfect, right?
Yeah.
It really kind of hits all the key parts of why people feel there's no social contract, because other people seem to be putting ahead of normal people, i.e. the rich and the corporations, right? Every single attack on the Labour Party should be framed like this.
Exactly. Yeah. No. I mean, the Labour Party leave this option open to them because they're so fucking dreadful, but no party, for whatever reason, seem to want to take the opportunity until Polanski arrives and just says the basic obvious. They're governing on behalf of the rich solely and obviously. The uniparty at fucking Westminster is not serving your interests. And surprise, surprise, like a fucking quarter of the population went, oh, okay, I'm listening. What's going on, lad? You know, which is fucking huge. Yeah. Now, did we want to? Because there were some Americans were wondering. Do we want to play the advert, or should I just post the link in the chat and they can do it in their own fucking time?
Yeah, I can post it because we still actually need to get through question time, right?
Oh, I forgot we were even fucking doing that. Jeez, I've got it queued up and everything, but I yeah. How long have we been going?
Hour and a half.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Okay, an hour and a half in, we're going to start.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like I've been away for 3 days. I understand. Obviously, you have probably got, you've already been actually making content like a good streamer. I have not been doing so. So, like a 3-hour stream.
To be fair, you have been just on a different channel.
That's also true.
You did fucking hours and hours of very good content on Navarra. So, just saying. Anyway, right. Let us get into question time from Macclesfield. Again, a real place, America. I promise you. It's in the north of England. Let's have a go.
I just have to re-fire up my stream again because everything sucks.
Okie doke. Is that Layla Moran? Is that who I see there?
It is Layla Moran. Well, the only Palestinian MP in Parliament.
True, although she is a Lib Dem, so like, keep your enjoyment to a minimum, please, chat.
I mean, again, it's just like some of the other people are just good on foreign policy and nothing else. Whilst I'm just getting the stream set up. Speaking of foreign policy, and we were talking about like George Galloway and stuff. Isn't it fucking miserable how the Assadists were kind of all like somehow kind of close to being right now the HTS are attacking Kurdistan?
Yeah, I mean, well, again, this is the problem, right? Fucking around and doing Western imperialism in these places is a recipe for disaster, as we saw with Iraq and we were seeing with Syria and basically everywhere it's been tried. Because what is in the interest of the United Kingdom or America or wherever else doesn't take into account the incredibly complex religious, historical, geographical, social, political dimensions of it all. It's not just Sunni Shia. Within that, there are a million other different vectors of difference between these different people. And so just throwing a bomb into the middle of that is just going to fuck everything up. And in all honesty, this is going to sound... I don't even mean this to sound like Orientalist or anything, but there are some parts of the world where you kind of do need a strongman for the time being. It's the only thing that seems to be able to actually keep them sort of in check. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. On
Like,
top of this,
Saddam Hussein was a piece of shit, but like Iraq functioned when he was there, and now it fucking doesn't. Syria, like Assad was a piece of shit, but it was a sort of functioning society, and now it isn't. You know?
And that's true. And the thing as well is that if you're going to support the removal of Assad, again, awful guy. Not gonna
piece of shit. Absolutely, yeah.
Like, I understand, right? If you're going to tactically support the Syrian Democratic Forces to not just stop ISIS but to defend against Assad, and then as soon as that all happens, you fucking leave them to be, they've been invaded and murdered by
sold down the river by the West, completely.
Yeah.
Again, Ukraine, watch what's happening there because they're gonna fucking do it to you too. Just be careful, yeah.
I wasn't really paying attention, for my sins to what was happening in Kurdistan, and we covered it on Navarra. I've been like just brimming with fury in the same way that I have been about Gaza and about Sudan, because not only no one was expecting the West to come to the aid of Gaza and Sudan. Like, of course, it's monstrous that we've allowed this to happen, but with Kurdistan, there's the level of betrayal is so great.
Yeah.
It's so obscene, the level of betrayal of like, well, we'll help you. Oh no, okay, right. Well, a NATO ally wants to murder you, so whatever, I don't care anymore. Just honestly, it absolutely drives me fucking.
It's disgusting.
So angry.
These
So
people,
furious.
these people were the fucking bulwark of civilization. They held back the forces of evil with their own fucking lives. They were fucking brilliant. Honestly, they're some of the best human beings on earth for their self-sacrifice in the face of monstrousness. And the West just went, oh, thanks for that. Now we're friends with the fucking Al-Qaeda government. Toodles. Like, it's just disgusting. Absolutely shafted. Anyway.
Yep. Anyway, let's do question time.
Yeah, let's do question time. Compared to Kurdistan, this can't be as bad. It cannot be.
Yeah. True.
Although we do have Emily Thornberry, so who knows?
For tonight's question time, we've come to Macclesfield in Cheshire. Famous for its role in Britain's silk industry in the 18th century, the town is today home to major employers such as AstraZeneca. Earlier this month, non-league Macclesfield FC pulled off the biggest upset in the history of the FA Cup.
Literally 117 places between them and their opponents in the football pyramid. Mental. They weren't even in the top tier of non-league. Mad.
Beating the
I
Holders
can't believe.
Crystal
And I
Palace.
can't believe the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans weren't invited.
True. Anti-Semitism from Macclesfield. They're even mocking the name Maccabi Tel Aviv. Disgusting.
Sparking scenes of mass jubilation. As usual, our audience members arriving here this evening reflect the general political picture.
And are white as fuck. Is there a... Oh, I do see one brown guy. Okay.
Across the nation. And tonight they want to ask Donald Trump, can the UK ever really trust him? And the Tory party, is it on the verge?
Why would you ask Donald Trump a question knowing he's going to lie to you? Just, you know he's not going to ever trust... He's not trustworthy. Including the fact that you would ask him, are you trustworthy? And he would say, I'm the most trustworthy person ever, bigly. People are saying they've never seen someone so trustworthy. Like, it's ridiculous.
Of extinction. Welcome to Question Time from Macclesfield. On tonight's panel, Emily Thornberry, one of Labour's leading voices on foreign affairs, who served in the shadow ministerial teams of Ed Miliband, Jeremy Corbyn and Keir Starmer.
And even though she defended it all, couldn't get into the cabinet once they got to government. Loser!
Stuart Andrew is the Conservative Shadow Health Secretary.
Who the fuck is this chinless
I mean,
dorm?
that's the funny thing is there's no one left. They all
Yeah,
lost their
there's
seats.
Well, they all lost their seats and or have now defected to the Reform Party. So, like, who knows? Honestly, Bobby J going over was amazing.
He grew up on a council estate in North Wales and entered politics as a councillor in Wrexham.
Oh, a class traitor. Okay.
I mean, it's funny how it seems like all of the like council estate Tories are all from Scotland and Wales.
Yeah, well, because there aren't any council buildings. There is no council fucking housing left in England. So,
True.
like, there is no such thing as a council estate anymore. It's just a former council estate that's now private and no one can afford to live anywhere. Thanks.
Once defected to Labour, but just for a year. Layla Moran is the Liberal Democrat chair of the Health and Social Care Committee. She's also been her party's foreign affairs spokesperson and is the first MP of Palestinian descent. And Greg Swenson is a man who hopefully can look inside the mind of Donald Trump for us. He represents US Republicans in the UK.
Why has this piece of shit been allowed on the... Fuck off.
It's his third time.
Yeah.
It's his third fucking time.
Also, where the fuck is your chin?
Literally. And at the very least, can we not have a left-wing representative from the United States?
Yeah.
And is a commentator on American affairs. He's compared Donald Trump's diplomacy to throwing a grenade into a crowded room.
You know what's funny, right?
Which is actually
Is
it's just the IDF's way of dealing with Palestinians.
And like, well, the funny thing as well is that like, it's that he said that, and you know full well that's supposed to be something you say to insult someone's policy,
Yeah.
but you know he thinks it's good.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's not. That's a positive thing. I was complimenting
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
Good evening. Welcome to our panel. Welcome to our audience here in Macclesfield. Very good to see you. And of course, welcome to you at home watching on your sofas. If you want to join in the conversation on social media, feel free. Otherwise, just sit back and see what everyone here has got to say. Let's take our first question, which is from Harry England.
Why are we still fostering a special relationship with Donald Trump and the US when his
Okay, I will go back for the recording purposes, but I just wanted to point out flat cap. Just literally, mate. Yeah, we know you're northern. Did you also bring a whippet and a pint of fucking Michelin Butlers or something? Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? You're indoors. Is your head that fucking cold? Anyway, sorry. No, we'll go back.
And see what everyone here has got to say. Let's take our first question, which is from Harry England.
Why are we still fostering a special relationship with Donald Trump and the US when his recent actions prove that he can't be trusted?
Well, it's been pretty
Good
lively
question.
this week,
Yeah.
hasn't it, with Donald Trump? Greg, I'm going to come to you first, because I think you probably have a greater understanding, or certainly sympathy with Donald Trump's position.
Oh, I'm going to go to the propagandist first. Thanks. I'm so glad I pay my TV license for this shit.
You know, we've had a week where he's threatened to take over Greenland, he's threatened to impose tariffs, he's insulted NATO allies. I just want to tell you about something he's also said this.
Do you not want to mention him kidnapping a head of state?
No, that's okay because they're leftist, so it's fine. That's just allowed. Also, did you see one of the things they're charging him with is the ownership of guns?
Machine guns specifically, and I'm like,
yeah, that's. I mean, firstly, I'm not sure how the U.S. law applies to him in Caracas, but you know, even so, I thought the Second Amendment was a thing. No, you're anti-guns now. Okay, cool.
With some like obscure off the books law from like 1920 or some shit that they're getting him on. Again on US domestic law as well. And I'm like, okay, so when does that apply to us? I mean, we're the cockboy bitch in the room, the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Am I gonna get persecuted under Donald Trump's new like anti-free speech shit because I told him to eat a dick on Twitter?
I mean, oh yeah, I am. Yeah, definitely. 100%.
This evening about NATO allies in an interview with Fox News. He talked about NATO not coming to help the United States if it needed them. And he said, we've never needed them. They say they sent some troops to Afghanistan and this or that. And they did. They stayed a little back, a little off the front lines. What do you make of that?
Over 500 UK service personnel were killed in Afghanistan.
It's true. What's interesting...
Which is interesting because apparently they weren't even on the front line, according to Trump. So, yeah.
True. I was pointing out on stream before you came on, that it's funny how everyone's getting mad about this. And I'm just like, you know who lost more soldiers on the front line fighting in a war that Americans told them to fight in? Afghans.
Yeah, I was about
and
to
those
say.
are the ones you want to drown in the channel.
Yeah. What I will say is that every service person in America or Britain or any of the other countries that bitched out and became a part of the Coalition of the Willing, the original one, not the new one, every single one of them that died, how do I say it, had it coming. I'm sorry, they had it coming. If you're a part of a military operation that you know damn well is not there for any good reason, you've invaded somebody else's country, you do evil things to those people consistently, and you get killed, tough shit. I don't feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for your family to a degree, because they didn't do anything. But for you, fuck it. Whatever happens, happens. You went there knowing exactly what the risks were. But that's, in saying that, for the American president to turn around and shit on those people's memory when he like supports that shit, he's the head of the US Army right now. It's pretty despicable, actually. That is gross. That is really fucking gross. And you know he's just saying it out of ignorance as well. He hasn't studied any of this. He can't fucking read. He doesn't know what's going on here. He's just an impulse machine. Nothing's ever planned. Nothing's about knowledge. It's just reacting in the moment to anything. It's fucking embarrassing.
Yeah, it's a mistake. And look, the president is very unfiltered and often doesn't have his facts perfectly lined up.
So, for a diplomat that doesn't have a filter and doesn't know things, brilliant. Fantastic.
We all know that not only was the UK fighting alongside of us in both of those wars, but so was Denmark. And so, in fact, the percentage of casualties for Denmark was as high as the United States. So, look, it was a mistake. He's very unfiltered, but to the question,
Yeah,
of course
unfiltered.
he can be trusted.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Yeah.
I think the president wants a stronger NATO, and in many respects.
In what possible way can you say that? He's literally questioned the future of NATO and said, we've never needed NATO. Why would you have it then? End it. Don, go on, mate. I dare you.
Alongside
In fact, you know who would have done it even better than you, Don? Barack Obama.
the Russia-Ukraine conflict that I think inspired the Europeans to step it up. But he's been very critical. So is Barack Obama, for that matter. It's just that President Obama wasn't able to get any reaction. And
How dare you? He closed Guantanamo. Oh, no, he didn't. Oh.
Well, that's funny again. Is so many people do go after Barack Obama from the left. And it's just that, of course, because all of American politics is dominated by liberals who think Obama is God's gift and have no kind of understanding of the policy regimen from the Obama administration. Republicans hate Obama as if he's like the exemplification of left-wing politics when he isn't.
No, he's a piece of shit. Yeah. Look up the bombing of Kunduz Hospital if you want to see exactly the creature that Barack Obama is. Yeah. On the point of being a Nobel Peace Prize winner, as Barack Obama was, did you see that the Venezuelan puppet bitch? I don't know what her fucking name is. She's honorarily transferred her Peace Prize to Donald Trump. She's given the Peace Prize to him, and the Peace Prize committee were like, "That's not how that works. You can't transfer it. That's just you can give him the trophy if you want, but you're still the Peace Prize. He's not the Peace Prize winner." So if you wanted to know who she's serving, it's not the Venezuelan.
It's almost
people.
like the whole like they literally gave it to her so that it would be something that Trump would support, and he still got mad about it because it wasn't him specifically. And I've got to invade Greenland because you snubbed me for the Nobel Peace Prize. If the Norwegian government had anything to do with this.
Yeah, exactly. Mad shit. And of course, he doesn't know the difference between Greenland, and Iceland.
Have they ever been seen in the same room together?
They haven't. That was my
stream title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An oblique reference that like 3 people, including yourself, got. So thank you.
encourage the Europeans to step up defense spending, and the president's been successful with that. So we'll see. I mean, you have Denmark, for example, at 3%. They were only at 1.6 back in 2022. So you're seeing the outcomes. So you might not like the delivery, you might not like how he behaves or how he gets, how he makes the argument, but the argument is a good one. And so in this case, obviously a mistake on the reference to Afghanistan and Iraq, but the outcome is that we'll have a stronger NATO, whether that's because we have more defense mechanisms in Greenland, or you have all the countries in NATO, all the European countries, committing to 5% of GDP. Whether they get there is a different argument.
Emily?
5%?
Yeah.
5?
It was 2.5%, but for some reason they've just gone 5%. But the thing is, don't get too annoyed, because what's going to happen is that as soon as Donald Trump goes and some neo-lib shithouse becomes the Republican candidate next time, none of these countries are going to get to 5%. They're all going to drop that, obviously.
America's defense spending as a percentage of GDP is only 3.2.
Yeah.
And they spend fucking gargantuanly stupid amounts, right? Everyone say, I can't believe we spend all this money. No one asked you to spend the money. Spend it on a welfare state. Stop housing and feeding and clothing your citizens, you fucking head case.
Yeah.
Do you make of that comment by Donald Trump?
It's not a mistake. It's not a mistake. It's so much more than a mistake. It's an absolute insult. It's an insult to 457 families who lost someone in Afghanistan.
Doing imperialism. Just want to point that out.
How dare he say we weren't...
I think you'll find they were replacing the Taliban with the Taliban. Really important job.
Literally, they went, you know what we should do? Get rid of the Taliban and replace them with random person. Oh, it's the Taliban again. Oh, okay, cool. But now they've got nice new roads to work with. So basically, we just handed the Taliban a better country.
Well, at least Ashraf Ghani got filthy rich out of it.
True. And Hamid Karzai and all of those scumfucks, yes.
Yeah.
And, of course, lots of American contractors and fucking mercenaries and things, yeah.
We have always been there. Whenever the Americans have wanted us,
We've always been America's bitch. How dare they? Honestly, this is the outrage of the side chick who's annoyed that he won't leave his fucking wife. You're the side chick. He doesn't love you. He comes in you and then leaves and goes home and plays with his fucking kids.
Oh, I can't believe we've been fucked and chucked again.
Oh, no. Maybe if you had some fucking self-respect, then someone would love you, Britain.
Probably something you shouldn't say to a scorned woman, but probably should say to the Labour Party.
Well, yeah, the Labour Party, yeah. Because the Labour Party's a fucking bunny boiler. Freak.
we have always been there. I went out to the United States at the beginning of the year, and I had supper with a lot of Republicans.
Yes, chat, I am slut-shaming my own country. And what? And what?
I mean, again, the issue, of course, is that we are real, actual patriots who want our country to not fucking not be shit, right?
Yeah, I actually want the best. I don't want the best for the country. I want the best for the people of the country. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't give a shit about like the imagined fucking entity of the nation state. I care about all of the people I share a community with, all the people whose lives could be better, whose dreams could be fulfilled if it weren't for fucking stupid politicians being beholden to weirdo pricks over the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, except my neighbour, he can go fuck himself because he annoyed me earlier. Everyone else's dreams, though. No money playing, he's a good lad.
So, to be quite honest, I didn't exactly expect to get on with and have a great deal to do with. But the one thing that was clearly there was a genuine affection for the United Kingdom because they understood they were all military men and they knew that whenever they had been fighting alongside someone from Britain who had been there to support the United
Support them and get shut down by friendly fire. Honestly, British service personnel make great target practice for American gunner ships. Yeah. True.
I mean, the problem is, of course, is that Thornbury has to defend the fact that we went to war in the first place because her government took it in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, they all supported this evil shit. Yeah,
United States and be involved in action with the United States. How dare this man, who's never seen any action, who somehow or other, when there was a draft for everybody else in the United States, managed to avoid it, and yet now is commander-in-chief and knows nothing about how it is.
To be fair, complicated one. He only got out because he was a rich kid, right? But generally speaking, if you dodge the draft for Vietnam, righteous, good for you, because that was a genuinely fucking evil piece of monstrous. Well,
it's so funny how they continue to try and whitewash all this shitty conflicts. I saw a Labour MP going, "Should we need to salute the veterans of the Korean War?" What? The one we fought on the wrong side of?
The one where we installed a fucking fascist dictatorship in Seoul. Literally, that one. Against the will of the Korean people, by the way. They don't want any of this shit.
Like brave, it's all very brave fighters of the Mujahideen, isn't it?
Well, again, it always is. It's always some evil shit. If you went through like the list of evil regimes in the world, America's backed so many of them. They are the #1 state backer of terrorism ever. By far.
Like literally, like Indonesia and Pakistan, right? Like
they're the reason that Pakistan became Islamist ever. It was never like that before. They backed the fucking Islamization of Pakistan because it was a Western ally.
Well, literally, like, every time, and same with Afghanistan, they back the Mujahideen, someone to stop communism. Yeah. It's just like they in their mind, like they've got an ant infestation, and rather than just getting rid of them, I'm like, well, I'm gonna bring in like this legion of anteaters to get rid of them. Oh, and I've got a house full of anteaters. Okay, I guess we're bringing a lion to eat up the anteaters. Oh well, I guess we've got to get like a fucking We've got to get in poachers now. And I'm like, did you?
Oh, the poachers have gone mad. Bring in the T-Rexes. Yeah,
it's over and over again. I'm just
to the
like,
point where now,
yeah.
literally now, they're on fucking friendly terms and allowing embassies to open up for a fucking Islamist, fucking Al-Qaeda government in Syria. So Al-Qaeda, the baddies we went into Afghanistan to get rid of, have now got fucking embassies in London and Washington. What the fuck is this? The T-Rexes have gone mad. Time for the asteroids. True.
Is that America has been defended. I mean, seriously, it's an absolute insult. We have had a very shocking few days. We've had a very shocking few days where we have had the leader of Britain's most important ally, you know, with whom we do have a close relationship in terms of defence, in terms of security, strong economic relationship, cultural, historic. You know, America's our friends. But we have had a leader of that country who has behaved in a way which is bullying, which is rude, which has been deliberately trying to undermine us.
And that your Prime Minister invited for a state visit.
And sucked off publicly, literally
Literally scrabbled at his fucking feet to pick up his papers like a little bitch. Like it was
so
his
funny.
fucking PA.
It's funny because, oh, well, suddenly you object to helping a geriatric. I'm not a geriatric rapist.
Well, not a geriatric rapist, and not when you're supposedly the leader of a country. You've got helpers there. You don't need to scrabble around at his fucking feet. Oh, sorry, Mr. Trump. Did that paper hurt your toes? Oh.
No, actually, oh no, fuck it. Everyone should have left him. No, do it yourself. Watch him just kind of awkwardly reach down to pick it up. It'd be fucking hilarious.
And he'd shit himself and fall over and not be able to get back up because he's a geriatric. It actually reminds me of the king during the trial, King James I, who was executed. Just a thought. Just saying. Anyway, the head of his cane fell off onto the floor. Right, this was in St James's what do you call it? Not St James, St Stephen's Hall in Westminster in Parliament, and the trial was taking place, and the head of his cane fell on the floor, and it made this big echoing noise, and everyone just sat there because he was used to like people. Charles I, sorry, yeah, and he was used to people scrabbling around for him. And apparently the look on his face was just like he was completely dumbfounded that he had to get up off his own arse and go and pick up his own shit. Like he was disgusted. And I thought, that's based as fuck. Because like most of those people in that room would have been scared shitless because they were about to kill a king. That's pretty big. And they all just sat there and went, no, I ain't picking up your shit, mate. Get your fucking self. And that's the way it should be done. Donald Trump is a grown adult. If you're not physically capable of picking down and bending it up, picking down and bending it up, that's not a sentence. Bending down and picking it up, then maybe it's time to get in a wheelchair or something because you're physically incapable at this point, you know? FDR did it. He was president in a wheelchair. It can happen. Anyway. Also, FDR was fucking. He cheated on his wife a lot. Aided by his daughter. Interestingly. Anyway.
Which has been trying to undermine NATO, and you wonder, where does this end? It's as if he has no anchor. It's as if he has no off button. And what we have done...
No, he does have a wanker. It's called Keir Starmer. What?
And I'm really proud that we have linked arms with our other friends and nations, and we have said no, enough. Donald
Nothing
Trump.
bad can
no
happen.
more of
It
this.
can only
you are
good
not
happen.
getting Greenland. You are not introducing tariffs. You are not going to be involved in military action.
Okay, what are you going to do to stop him? What are you going to do? Nicey words like this are fine, but if he invades Greenland, what the fuck are you going to do to stop that?
Well, clearly she'll have to get in line because Hakeem Jeffries has already sent a strongly worded letter.
Well, again, he can't read. So even the pretense of sending a strongly worded letter is pointless. Because even if he could read, he wouldn't. He was elected to lead, not to read. To quote the greatest president of all time.
You are not going to breach international law. This is the line. Do not cross it.
Yeah, you're not going to break international law. Only Israel can do that. Okay?
I'm not sure that he will react to those threats or whatever you want to describe them as, but
We don't threaten. We're just saying no.
yeah, okay. But do you think NATO will be stronger because of Donald Trump? And I think the answer is yes.
No.
What's that got to do with anything? Even if that were true, which it isn't, what's that got to do with anything? We're talking about, should he invade fucking Greenland? How would that make NATO better? I don't know. It might make it non-existent, which would be better, but, you know.
No, I don't think that NATO is being stronger, because I think the idea of the most important member of NATO saying that it's going to take on NATO and is going to invade one of the NATO countries undermines us. Now, we've pulled it back from the brink, thank goodness.
Also, as pointed out in chat, Donald Trump is a rapist. He doesn't take no for an answer. You do need to be stronger than that, I think.
When there was a Democratic senator who literally said this is the ideology of a rapist.
Yeah, and it is, literally. Literally, yes.
And actually, what I'm most pleased about is that at least it helps Ukraine. Because what we don't want is NATO splintering, because it does not help a country like Ukraine for NATO at a moment like this to be splintered in this way. But you know, I'm not going to pretend that that Donald Trump has done anything other than behave in a thoroughly reckless way.
So you don't think NATO will be stronger at the end of President Trump's second term?
I was talking to the German ambassador yesterday, and I said at least one thing that comes out of this is that it helps the smaller nations of NATO to remember that we need to stick together and we need to take more responsibility.
Okay.
Of course we do.
There's lots of hands.
Whoa, hang a minute, whoa. So what you're saying is that nations that are part of NATO currently, like for example European nations that aren't the United States, should get together from their own defensive arrangement that's not linked to the United States.
Yes.
Because the United States is an untrustworthy ally. Is that what you're saying, Emily? Because that sounds a lot like exactly what Zach Polanski was saying 5 months ago. Their internal party briefings say are going to be their attack lines.
Yeah. Maybe she's suggesting what we need is NATO, right? But also an anti-NATO to protect us from NATO. So then we can have it both ways. You can pretend to be America's friend, but also have the fallback position of trying to defend ourselves against America. Okay. That cool? I guess.
Dark blue sweater with a white shirt there. Yes. Yes.
I'm very disappointed to hear that Donald Trump said that about people like myself who served in Iraq.
Yeah.
Oh, you killed brown kids? Oh, cool. Thanks for your service. Prick.
Thank you for helping create the vacuum that led to ISIS. Yay!
Yippee! How many prisoners did you torture personally?
Served in Iraq.
I was in Iraq in 2003.
And so this idea that, well, he talked about Afghanistan actually, but the idea that British troops were holding back from the front line.
I can promise you I was very close to that front line. I crossed over the border on the first day.
I shot so many innocent people. Honestly, you wouldn't believe how close I was. I could see the whites of their eyes as they died from my bullets.
Did you think, speaking of people close to the front lines, right? Did you see that a bunch of news organizations got Prince Harry to comment on the Donald Trump statement?
Okay, a guy that was never anywhere near, like they wouldn't have allowed within 100 miles of the front fucking lines.
and also a guy who confessed in his book that he treated it like a fucking video game.
Yeah. Yeah, well, to be fair, he was a stupid young man, okay? I'll almost let him off there. But what I will say is that, like, obviously they never let him anywhere near the front lines. They shouldn't have let him go there. Imagine if he'd been captured, how fucking embarrassing that would have been.
I mean,
to have well, at the time, because the man didn't have kids, did he? So he'd have been, what, fourth in line, third in line, whatever it was? To be the head of state of the country. And the Taliban are now playing with his dick on camera. What are you doing?
I mean, it would be embarrassing. Also very funny.
It would have been huge. Oh, you'd have been hilarious. The fucking memes. Oh, it'd have been off the charts. Anyway, the Taliban have kicked him out because he was too Nazi. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would have been brilliant. But yeah, they shouldn't have allowed him to go there in the fucking first place. I mean, to be fair, no British personnel should ever have gone there, but he especially should not have gone there. If they want to play around it pretending to be soldiers, let them do it in the fucking Berkshire countryside or something. Dickheads.
The war, and I saw things I don't want to see ever again. I think Mr. Trump has just.
Yeah, I think a lot of Iraqis saw things they didn't want to see again, like British soldiers in their fucking town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Upset all veterans now.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
I'm so sorry, but I'm happy that you and your comrades were sent into the desert to die for ExxonMobil. Honest, Emily Thornberry can suck a dick. Your fucking feigned outrage as you're a part of a fucking party that's doing 2 genocides and supporting an Al-Qaeda government. Fuck off. Anyway, I do need to use the restroom, so can you take over for a couple of minutes?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've just been browsing Twitter, and all of my feed, or at least all of my For You feed on Twitter, is all people making probably less than advised statements about immigration and customs enforcement on a public platform. So what I will say is that I would recommend not Fed posting. That's probably a big recommendation for me. Also, by the way, has the stream been fine on your end, Twitch viewers in chat? Has everyone been fine on Twitch since we restarted when we started question time? Maybe it is just trying to multi-stream that's causing a problem. PC issue is RAM related. Maybe it is, but again, nothing like goes down. It's just Streamlabs decides that it's not connecting anymore. So I think it must be a Streamlabs problem. How much RAM do I have? 32 gig. Let me just double check. Settings, system, about. Yeah, 32 gig of RAM. There's a bottleneck somewhere. I don't know what it is. Probably just the general upload limits are shit because internet companies prioritize download speed. Maybe that is the upload limit, but as far as I was aware, the multi-stream happens on Streamlabs end, not on my client end. Upload limit. Maybe it is an upload limit, but then because I guess that might be why I'm still continuing to get the chat come through on my end, right? Even when the stream goes down, I still see chat, I still read chat, but what I don't do is get the stream uploading. Maybe it is an upload limit. I mean, my year subscription to Streamlabs Ultra is coming up for renewal in March. I'm also thinking of, as I said before with Kev, I'm thinking of changing to Linux. And there is no Streamlabs platform for Linux. So if I do change to Linux, that would mean having to use regular OBS anyway. But then I wouldn't get the integrated chat that shares both Twitch and YouTube chat in the same place, like for me to be able to view everyone's chat rather than having multiple fucking things open at the same time. Well, I don't need more RAM. 32 gig is plenty. I don't need more RAM. Again, I think the idea of it being an upload speed issue or upload limit issue is probably something like that. So that's my assumption. I mean, we don't really talk much about Minnesota today because we mostly only talk about UK politics on here. I mean, we should. I mean, yeah, it is very funny that people are sharing the whitest kids you know sketch. And you got 64 DDR5s only 100 quid, bloody hell. But I mean, again, I have plenty of RAM. The PC specs are excellent. But it will be interesting, as I say, to run a lightweight computer system on like a modern machine, and it'd be interesting how fast it'll go. I just wonder what kind of platform I'll need to be able to stream to both YouTube and Twitch at the same time on regular OBS. I see. Very funny. Can't give a duck. I mean, that's the thing, right? Is that lots of the UK public's opinion on China is changing, and into a more kind of market integration with China probably is, as long as it doesn't really impact like UK industry, is probably a good thing. Thank you, Fluffy Snowcat, for the Prime sub. Appreciate the support. Remember, of course, you can, of course, give both me and Kevin Logan lots of money through bits and subs and memberships and gifts and Patreon and PayPal in Kev's case. Like, please consider doing so. I understand that you're paying for me to just continually have my stream drop, but I haven't, which I am, very slow at fixing. But consider that I like your money. And I will spend it better on Magic the Gathering. No, I wouldn't spend it better. I can guarantee you one thing will be certain. If you give me money, I will spend it worse than you will. I can guarantee that, chat. But don't let that put you off. I'll figure it out. I really like my setup. The setup that I've got, I'm really, really happy with it. And having to go through the rigmarole of changing the setup and trying to get it to work and not having the same things they had before is really frustrating. But the fact that the stream keeps dropping and it puts people off, people might not come back to watch live shows, which would be the worst thing possible, is if it loses me viewership, that's the important part, right? And it's a worse viewer experience for people at home who want to continue watching the channel, having to keep dealing with me going offline every half an hour or whatever. Although I will say, for Kevin when he gets back, is that Kevin said that he was going to the restroom. That's not very de-yankification. So I can't donate the money donated to the Green Party. Fair.
Apologies. Yes. Should we go on with it?
Yeah.
Man here in the front in the middle.
Trump is wrong about this, but he's not wrong about NATO underspend. It's a simple fact. He warned about it in his previous tenure.
Oh, a fucking Nazi poster child with a German accent telling us we need to spend more on the military.
And even then, again, we know it's fine. We spend enough on the military. It's literally fine. Yeah.
We had the Bundeswehr and certain NATO exercises wielding brooms instead of machine guns.
Interestingly, one of the first heads of the Bundeswehr was also a Nazi. Literally true. The denazification of Western Germany was pitiful.
I mean, there is lots of denazification discourse on the timeline right now. And so I would like to look at countries who did or did not treat Nazis in different ways. And people at home to make their own judgments on how successful they were.
Yeah. There is an Eichmann tractor company that still exists. I'll leave you there. I'll just leave that sentence lying there,
He warned about Angela Merkel's closing relationship with Putin and over-reliance on Russia for energy, which undermined European security. And the truth is, no matter what you say about him, he is getting NATO to uphold their commitments to their 2% spend. We're in a more dangerous world with Russia and China. We have to arm, and we need to start taking the threat seriously. And Trump is...
Yeah, we need Lebensraum. I mean, security, yeah. No, true.
And even then, we're not really facing anything from China. If anything, the real problem with China is we're going to have to be totally fucking economically dependent upon them because they're the only people who make shit anymore, and they have control over a lot of the rare earth mineral refinement, right? Even the deposits in Australia, all the refinement happens in China, and the fact that their industrial economy is so booming, they will be undercutting all the jobs here, which will be stuck in service industry sinecures forever, whilst being entirely dependent on them for production.
Robert Evans.
That's a problem. China's military fucking aspirations, then that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Who have they invaded? Who has China invaded? Chat.
Tibet.
There's Tibet. There is Tibet, and you can. That's a really good. That's an important point to make. Outside of that, basically nowhere.
Yeah. They could just stroll in and take Taiwan, and they haven't.
Yeah.
Because then we would cause a kerfuffle. So what's the point? Robert Evans recently said they shouldn't have done Nuremberg. They should have just shot every member. See, now I disagree. I think that putting these people on trial shows that we're better than them. The Nazis shot people for believing things. You put people on trial because they murdered people, and then you hang them. That's because they murdered loads of people. So they found guilty. You hang them. Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, if there's going to be trials, I hope they're trials like the trials that were done by the French revolutionaries and not done by Nuremberg.
But no, the Nuremberg trials were fine. Most of the people who were really guilty did get executed.
That's true.
The problem is, most of the people remember the big one with Goering and fucking all of these people, right? But there were dozens of other smaller trials, like the Doctor's trial and people like that. And most of those people, even when they were given the death sentence, once the four power allies handed it over to the new German government, the German government commuted their sentences or just released them.
Or sent them off to become nuclear scientists for the United States.
Well, no, to be fair, that had already happened. Operation Paperclip had happened.
Right.
But like, I'm talking people who were in Germany who'd been convicted of war crimes, murder, genocide, all sorts of things, and they'd have death sentences commuted to like 8-year sentences or 5-year sentences, but they'd just be released. Because the West German government didn't give a fuck. And the Americans were happy to look the other way because Cold War boogaloo.
True.
So the head of the German police was a Nazi at one point. The fucking one of the former chancellors of the West German government was a member of the NSDAP.
And also, like, on top of this, even the Soviet Union, who people online will talk about how, they were much better at dispatching Nazis than the other allies. I'm like, not true. Loads of Nazis went to work in the Soviet Union.
Yeah, there were. To be fair, they did better, but yeah, there were loads of Nazis as well. Yeah, because again, the same pressures that led to Cold War fever in the West led it to it in the East as well. They wanted because the thing is, America had a nuclear bomb. The USSR didn't. They needed nuclear scientists, so they didn't care that they'd fucking use slave labor to dig up uranium. They didn't give a fuck.
I hate to be a Tito boo once again, but not so much of an issue for the Yugoslavs.
Well,
Importation of Nazi scientists.
You say Tito boo, but on Navarro you said Yugo boo, and I laughed.
I did.
I laughed at that. I thought that was a funny phrase.
But it is. I mean, yeah, there were no Ustaše scientists like shipped off to become Yugoslavian.
Yeah, because they took the initial thing. They didn't do my thing of saying put them on trial and kill them. They just went, no, we're just going to kill them. There's no fucking trials here. They didn't give us trials, so you know what? Get up against the wall, lads. It's happening.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't really much. I mean, there was 4 walls and a large drop.
Yeah, no, okay. To be fair, yes, many of them were hanged, but they were. They
were thrown in a pit. They were thrown down the mine shaft.
Which is, I mean, I'll be honest with you, is an inefficient way of doing it because that's not necessarily going to kill all of them. Just saying.
Saves on lead though.
It does save on lead. Yeah.
By the way, this is all hypothetical, Twitch and YouTube. We are not condoning this behaviour.
No, it's not hypothetical. It fucking happened. We're just hypothetically musing on the rights and wrongs of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting that.
Okay. Harry, you asked the question. Let's hear what you've got to say on it.
My only worry is that if say that NATO gets stronger, but is threatening other NATO countries with tariffs, with the ways going about it, even if NATO's stronger as a result, the means aren't worth the end. We shouldn't have one NATO.
NATO won't be stronger. It might be spending more money, but NATO as an alliance has been irreparably damaged, I think, by this. Because it's, again, pulling the curtain back on the reality of the situation. America always tried to sell itself as the protector of these nations, and it's very obvious to everyone now that that isn't the case. Like, it just isn't. They are our biggest threat. China doesn't threaten us with tariffs. Russia, for the most part, doesn't do much to us. Personally, obviously they fucked up Ukraine and stuff. But, like, America runs us.
To be fair, the Russians did threaten to kill James Cleverly.
I could not possibly comment in the positive towards that threat. James Cleverly was a member of the UK government at the time, and therefore that would have been a bad thing to happen. I'm shaking my head because I disagree with that notion.
NATO country threatening another NATO country.
Okay, Greg, I'll come back to you on that. Yes, man in the middle at the very back. Yeah. Yes, you.
Yeah, I don't know why no one expected this sooner. I mean,
that man has the nicest hair that's ever existed. Look how silky that is.
He just kind of look like Rick Parfitt, though.
He does look a bit like Rick Parfitt, but that, like, to take the human out of it and just the hair, it's just glorious. True. He's got the flowing locks of Lassie. Let's go!
The United States only own all their land, unlike the continental United States. They only own the land because they moved in with military force and then forced them to buy it, forced them to sell their land that they didn't want to sell. There's already...
Okay, I'm with him. I know what he's saying here. They stole the land from the Indians. They didn't pay for it. Very, very rarely was there any exchange. It was literally, you get off this land, it's ours now. It wasn't like it wasn't purchased. The Louisiana Purchase was purchased, but that's because the French stole it first. Anyway.
True.
Like tons of tribes that are being sat with massive money that they didn't want to receive from the United States.
Yeah, someone made the... Oh, shit! I've skipped way ahead. Bollocks. Well, I'll get back to it. Anyway, someone made the very good point that a nation built on genocide has descended into fascism. Oh, no. Who could have seen this?
No. What? With a massively exploited ethnic minority? I don't believe you.
Literally, look into it. The Nazi concept of Lebensraum comes directly as an inspiration from Manifest Destiny.
It does. I mean, of all of the things I could say in response, there is a very good Bad Empanada video about
There is.
that.
Bad Empanada, if you ignore everything else that his existence comprises of, if you just watch his video essays, is very good.
Yes.
Ignore everything else about him, his live streams, his tweets, anything. Just the video, essays are exceptional. His one about the Argentinian military junta of the 50s, 60s and 70s and Peronism and all of that is exceptional.
Yeah.
It looks at how the society dealt with that period through films, through Argentine cinema. It's magnificent. Opened up a new vista of that continent for me. And then you hear him going on about like trying to get the fucking socialism done left stream taken down by playing Beatles in the background. Like, what are you doing, you maniac?
Same thing, but it's Denmark to a bunch of white people who, that's just, yeah.
That's unsurprising to you.
It's unsurprising to me. Yeah.
Stuart?
Well, to be fair, the reason that there are white people in Greenland is because they did very much the same thing.
Well, to be fair, at least they didn't expel anyone to do it, right?
No, to be fair, there's I think what they're called, Skraeling, I believe is the Nordic word for it, the native peoples, yeah.
I mean, like, in the same way that you look at the difference between Australia and New Zealand, right? New Zealand is, in many respects, a far more kind of close-knit country because they went there and then they offered a deal with the Maori people that were there.
Interestingly, that's the sign that resistance is important, because the British Army could have gone in there and killed all the Maori, but the Maori put up a fight and it would have been too costly. So they cut a deal with the Treaty of Waitangi. Which is why there are Maori in a way that there are not Aboriginals really in Australia. There's a few survived, but like quite literally one of the very few 100% exterminations that ever happened on Earth was the British in what we now know as
Tasmania.
The Tasmanian native people were 100% eliminated. They do not exist anymore. So,
I just the British inspiring the Nazis from day one.
Literally. And the Nazis made the point. Literally, there's a transcript. There's a fantastic Jewish psychologist who went into Nuremberg jail and was like interviewed all the top Nazis during the Nuremberg trials. And his conversations with Goering were fascinating because Goering kept pointing out to him, "You're an American. Where are you from?" And he was like, from Kansas or somewhere. And he's like, there were people already in Kansas. How did you come by that land? Oh, yeah, you stole it and killed the fucking people. And it's hard to argue. Now, he's doing that to try and, say that what we did wasn't bad. No, you were both bad. You're both monsters. Okay? Both Manifest Destiny and Lebensraum were disgusting concepts that involved genocide to try and steal people's land. One does not justify the other. But for an American, like you say, to go there and, lecture them, yeah, that is a bit of a piss take. You inspired that shit. America, the shining beacon on the hill to genociders everywhere.
Yep.
So Harry's question, by all means feel free to comment on what Donald Trump said this evening about NATO troops. But Harry's question is, why are we still fostering a special relationship with Donald Trump when his recent actions prove he can't be trusted? Do you think he can be trusted?
Well, firstly, on the comments that have been made, I want to echo that they are disgraceful comments, and I want to say thank you to the gentleman who did.
Didn't they say he grew up in Wales? He's saying
just like every Tory, it's like every single Tory representing one of the constituent nations of the United Kingdom. They got the poshest, most southern accent you ever heard.
Yeah, well, he sounds sort of northern posh. He doesn't sound Welsh in the slightest. He'd look anywhere. What?
Okay.
I've been to all parts of Wales, and no one talks like this.
Served for us. There are many people in this country who served both in Iraq and Iraq and Afghanistan.
Oh, so he's giving away the future veterans.
Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of whitest kids, you know.
Were we?
Sorry, it was when you were in the loo.
Okay.
Someone brought up the sketch about the pretend one, which I'm not going to say on Twitch because it would be COS.
Yes, yeah.
But there's also another one where it's another Trevor Moore one, rest in peace, who is him doing like a pretend press briefing, and it's just all like about bears on the moon, and then somebody goes, "Hang a minute, we're going to a war with Iran." I was like, I've almost got you with the bears thing.
True. Well, that's why you set up Space Force, for the bears on the moon.
True. It's like Golden Dome.
True.
Many of whom lost their lives, but also many more who came back with life-changing injuries, and we should say thank you to them.
Is this like the Welsh version of the fucking not Duncan Wright? What's his name? The posh Scottish lad, the journalist.
Fraser Nelson.
Fraser Nelson. Is this the Welsh Fraser Nelson? Because he sounds so English posh that you're not a Welshman. Okay, when Wales gets its independence, you don't get a passport.
Oh, speaking of English Welshman, in a similar vein, I commented on a Reform Scotland post saying, "I'm sorry, if you vote for Reform UK in Scotland, you are English." And
yeah.
Fucking the comments were mad. They got so mad with me. It was very funny.
Yeah, they don't like that. But interestingly, you're not Scottish. You have betrayed. You have betrayed Scotland if you vote Reform. Yeah. Have you seen Nigel Farage and Zia Youssef? Are you having a lot? Have you seen more fucking English pricks in your life?
And it is appalling that sort of comment has been made. Does that mean, though, that we risk our special relationship? No, because actually...
Yes, because it's not special. It's abusive.
I mean, it is kind of special, but in all of the ways that he doesn't want it, they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Our relationship with America, and that's what it is, this is a relationship with the country, is so important for our defence, for our security, and for our safety.
And do you think he can be trusted?
I mean, the only thing I will say...
Honestly, the level of cuckoldery in the British establishment is pathetic. We rely on them, so we can't ever change anything ever, regardless of what America does. Because we literally can't look after ourselves. So pathetically prone is this nation. Like, I don't want us to be a great power and fucking bestriding the earth or anything. But can we not have a little bit of fucking self-respect? At least.
A few weeks ago, were we all talking about the security of the Arctic? No. And we are now.
No, I'm talking about Venezuela a couple of weeks ago.
But I'm not saying.
She mentioned the thing you're not supposed to mention. Because I said this on Normal Island, and I'll repeat it. The Greenland thing is a distraction from the Venezuela fuck up. Because he thought if you just get rid of Maduro, the country will fall. It didn't. Because that's not how that works. Because he's a fucking idiot. So he went, I'll talk about Greenland again. Everyone will focus on Greenland to distract from Venezuela, which was to distract from the fact that he's a fucking paedophile. Has everyone forgotten that? The President of the United States raped children.
That I agree with the methods of getting there. But actually, there is a very serious threat in the Arctic. There is a very serious threat, and Russia...
Fucking polar bears!
And it's just not true. It's just literally not true that there's a threat in the Arctic. And again, even if there was, there are already American bases in Greenland.
Yeah.
There's already other NATO bases in Greenland. You don't need to annex Greenland.
Every single reason he's given for why they need to annex them, they already have.
Yeah.
They already got a massive base. They've already got like permanent fucking submarine access to the waters. They've got everything. There's no reason they need to do this at all. Same is true with Iceland. So in many respects, him fucking up Greenland and Iceland doesn't really fundamentally make a difference because they've got everything they want.
Well, the irony, of course, is this could lead to a breakdown in relationships between Europe and America, which means it could see them being expelled from Greenland. All this has done is you make it less likely to have access to it rather than more likely.
Yeah, because when Greenland go independent, they might want to take like some defensive precautions against you. Like, they can't realistically defend themselves because it's like 40,000 fishermen. Like, they're not really going to do much. But, like, they're going to be less friendly towards you for sure. Because you've been threatening them, you prick. Why if Canada invaded Greenland? Would they notice? What the fuck can Canada do? That's just 3 moose in a trench coat, is the Canadian army, okay? I said it.
Will expose that and use it against us.
And do you think threatening to invade was the way to get people to pay attention?
No, absolutely not. And that's why we were absolutely behind what the Prime Minister said. You know, that you cannot say we will, you know, you'll punish other countries with tariffs because you want to get your way in Greenland. That is not anything to do with the other NATO countries. That is for Greenland, the people of Greenland, and for the King.
No, surely America has that right. She has that right to defend herself against the Greenlandic threat.
It is an ongoing situation.
Yeah, they're monitoring the situation, so it's fine.
Kingdom of Denmark to decide. But, you know, for me, there's a danger to do a Love Actually moment here, but for me, a relationship means that you can be honest and frank, and that is what we have done this week. We've been honest.
Who let Uncle Fester in?
And frank with the President to say, we will not tolerate you threatening tariffs, and we will not tolerate you trying to go...
What do you mean you will not? Again, you will not tolerate... What the fuck are you going to do? Fundamentally, this is the thing. Okay, you're not going to tolerate it. So your countermeasure is... do nothing!
Strongly worded letters, strongly worded statements.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit there shaking my head so that they know how disapproving
I'm going to do
awful actions.
I'm going to do a press conference in which I say, tut tut.
Well, they've literally done less to try and persuade Trump than John McDonnell has trying to persuade Keir Starmer.
Yeah, literally. Literally. They won't even do the strongly worded letter. Again, it would be pointless to do so because he can't read, but he might get one of the literate people around him to read it for him. Like he did remember when Keir Starmer handed over that letter from the King saying, oh yeah, we definitely want you to come over, honest, for a state visit. And Donald Trump went, oh, that's fine, you can read it. Because he can't read. He's an illiterate person.
Against the sovereignty of the people of Greenland and the rights of the Kingdom of Denmark.
Lena.
Who needs enemies when you've got friends like Donald Trump? Seriously.
True.
And the Liberal Democrats have
best thing a Lib Dem has ever said. Literally.
long argued now. We should have learned from the first Trump presidency. We know what this guy's like. We're in a school. He's a bully. You're absolutely right, Emily. He's a bully. He's behaving like an international gangster. And they only understand strength. They only understand...
So the policy solution is to rejoin the European Union, right?
I mean... This is one of the very few times when I think probably the actual sensible reaction is to talk about closer European integration.
True. Although, to be fair, lots of European countries are also in NATO, so, like, okay.
I mean, but if there is going to be a replacement defensive alliance, which actually is defensive and not offensive as NATO is, it's going to probably be involving a bunch of European countries.
Yeah, to
Australia
be fair.
and Canada.
To be fair, yeah, it would be. Because, I mean, at least, you know, the European countries are sort of close, geographically, you know, makes sense.
And if you aren't strong enough to stand up to them on your own, you get your friends around you and you do it all together. And I think what this has shown us is that the kowtowing, the kissing of the hand that we've seen, and it has been so difficult to watch Keir Starmer and David Lammy go out there and be best pals and fishing with Vance and all of that. And
that was embarrassing, especially because they broke the law. They literally broke the law because they didn't have a fishing licence. A rule that was introduced by a government that David Lammy was a part of. Genius.
Understand, it was hard to see, but they were making an argument for it. We said, this is going to backfire, they don't care. And then what we saw this week is, lo and behold, they stole our lunch money one time, we caved, and why are we surprised that he did it again? He's going to keep doing it until we work out who our friends really are. And I think this is what this is doing.
But you could argue this week that he hasn't done it. That he hasn't invaded Greenland.
For now.
And the tariffs have not been imposed.
For now, but do we...
Oh, that's okay. He just threatened to do it. Which is fine, because if someone threatened to invade Britain, we'd just be like, well, they haven't done it. It's not a problem. Why would we be bothered that they're threatening to invade and take over? Because it hasn't happened yet. We can only have opinions about things that have already happened.
Yeah, like she's making the point that they keep coming back for more because we aren't properly mounting a reasonable defense, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And again, just like every negotiator, I've worked in sales, right? Even if he didn't have designs on conquering Greenland, which obviously I think that he did, at the very least, right, it is a ridiculous kind of entry point with which to negotiate down to a position of strength to, because if you went in with an initial offer, they would get you back down to something favourable in the other direction, right?
Yeah.
Like, all we are doing is seeding negotiation by treating insane fucking things as if they are part of the negotiations rather than going, no, fuck off. If you do that, here's what we'll do in response, right?
Yeah.
Really want to have to go through this over and over. And it wasn't until, Mark Rutte got him in a room and made some kind of a deal that I don't think Denmark or the people of Greenland had anything to do with. But also, the EU got together, suspended trade talks, and then...
Here we go, chat. FBPE incoming.
Put 93 billion euros worth of potential sanctions against him, and we all stood in lockstep. He also achieved the unbelievable, which is he got all political parties across the whole spectrum in this country coming out against him. I mean, maybe that's a good thing, maybe not. But this is not the way grown-ups behave. And there are serious questions about his mental acuity. I mean, that is not just a small...
No, grown-ups, adults in the room, sensibles. Fuck off. God almighty.
Mistake. I completely agree. It's an absolute insult to brave veterans who have served and died for this country. It's not good enough. So I think it's putting into sharp relief that the way this government has approached Donald Trump is the wrong approach. It's time to have some dignity and stand up for ourselves.
I don't agree. I think that actually Keir Starmer has behaved like a grown-up this week.
No, Keir Starmer has. I'm talking about Trump.
Yeah, but, the way to respond is the way that Keir Starmer has. And he has done it politely, a lot more politely than I would. But he has done it politely, and he's stood up to him, and he's been clear. And that's just in public.
He is a grown-up, because you have to be over 18 to give the clock. Yeah.
So, I mean, not for Donald Trump, you don't.
No, well, no, Donald Trump prefers if you're not, but legally speaking, yeah.
Yeah.
We can see, can't we, by the effusive way in which the Danish Prime Minister came straight over to London immediately after the deal was struck and thanked us. The amount of work that's been going on behind the scenes, the sort of things we're probably not going to read about.
Let's hear a bit more from our audience. Man here in the blue shirt in the front.
Do you not think that he's one of the most dangerous men in the world at the moment?
Yeah.
I mean, the way he acts, he threatens and then he pulls back. He threatens and he pulls back. Like you said, he's just like a bully. But the same thing is that he's doing more U-turns than Keir Starmer. He threatens tariffs, he pulls them back. He's just a dangerous man. He's nothing like you said. He's nothing, just like a gangster.
But what about Grace's point that countries wouldn't be paying more?
But he runs the country like he ran his businesses. He is a gangster. He'll shaft anyone he can because that's just who he is. He's literally the fucking scorpion on the frog's back. Like, he can't help himself.
Into their defence budgets as part of NATO if Trump
hadn't
been saying what he has.
He has pushed that up, and I must admit that is the case. But sometimes when you hear him talk, you think it's all about the Donald Trump show. He's not bothered about anything else. It's about how he comes across.
Yep. Okay. Woman there in the pink jacket.
I'm concerned about the fact there's no checks and balances in place. I mean, he seems to be a lone wolf doing things on his own, exactly what he wants, and who's checking his behaviour? We've had this in history before.
I think that there are some checks and balances. I think the markets this time have spooked him. The reaction of the markets was important. I do think also that the Senate and Congress are beginning to finally find their feet. And I think that also
No, they're not. The Democratic Party, or at least some Democrats, helped pass the ICE fucking funding bill.
Yep.
Right? Like
Yep.
Henry Cuellar and fucking Marie Gluesenkampf Perez.
Who, by the way, that is the most Nazi South American coded name I've ever heard.
Oh, her name is Gluesenkamp Perez, but I said Kampf because it made her sound like the Nazi that she is.
Like, if there's a South American called, like, Eichmann Garcia, like, you need to ask.
Gluesenkamp.
Yeah, you need to know where their granddad came from.
Literally.
And why.
Literally. or I did see someone call her Marie Concentration Camp Perez.
Which, honestly, the fact that they're besmirching the great name of the fantastic German concentration camp family, most of whom were not Nazis.
From being able to introduce sanctions in future. I think that America still remains a democracy.
Man in the glasses there.
Just on the point of the Trump thing and trusting him,
This is not me. I don't even wear glasses. Fuck off, chat.
in relation to, obviously, this week he's also announced this new Security Council where he put £1 billion and he's asked...
the Board of Peace, which is about trying to maintain peace in Israel, Gaza, and rebuild Gaza.
And he's also, obviously... Putin
No.
He's
Fuck off. It's his fucking alternative United Nations with Alexander Lukashenko.
No, fucking mental. An agglomerate. Honestly, it looked like a meeting of the supervillains. It looked like fucking Dr. Evil's round table.
Literally, the Legion of Doom.
And Putin to sign and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So how can we trust someone with NATO and with our country who's actively okay to allow Putin, who's a warlord invading Ukraine at the moment, to actively be involved in that as well? I think we can't just trust that.
Woman at the back.
It seems to me that the loose cannon approach that Trump employs is part of his business strategy as well. You know, that pitch high and then come back from it. But I also think about Russia and China and what are they doing? Are they sitting back and
laughing?
You know, with their arms folded and some popcorn and a drink and watching all this chaos that is ensuing because this man has, as someone said earlier, thrown a grenade into the European Union and the European and Greenland, etc. So what are they learning from how Trump is behaving?
Is there anyone here? We had one person in the front who I don't want to put words into your sort of making the case for what Trump has been doing. Is there anyone else here who takes that view? Yes.
That's such a good point in chat. The Oxbridge PPE crowd were not prepared by that course for a changing world order. They just have to pretend fascism isn't happening, that Trump's just a normal Atlanticist guy.
Well, that's why it's interesting. I think that Aaron Bastani made this point, which
Excellent
is that
point.
actually is that Mark Carney is the obvious character to take this seriously because he's not a politician. He's not a political actor who's been a spad. He's been a researcher who's pounded the pavement or whatever it is, right? He's a numbers guy.
Yeah.
He's had, just like how the FT is the only paper that you can trust because it's full of people who need hard facts to make bets on markets, right? He's a central banker who needs to know the best policy rate at the best time to be able to ensure that he maintains economic stability. And so he looks at the situation analytically and goes, yeah, of course the world's fucked, right? Of course this is obvious, you know, like we need to be realistic about what's happening at this moment so we can respond correctly, rather than kind of either cynical politicians or rose-tinted glasses politicians who view this through the lens of what's politically best for them. Mark Carney's it's obvious, isn't it? Yeah. Of course, it is funny that he goes, well, the Greenland thing, international law, it's not worth what it once was. And I'm like, have you not seen the genocide for the last 2 years? Oh, wait, you've been funding it.
Yeah, exactly. He's been funding it, yeah. Yeah. Good point in chat from Phil. Wasn't that Trump's business strategy that led to him going bankrupt 6 times? Yeah.
I'm going to assume so.
Yeah. But it's okay. He's just like the most powerful man in the world. If he makes the world bankrupt, that's fine.
Woman at the back in the glasses. Let's hear from you.
I think Trump, he is one of the most powerful leaders in the world. And when he makes his threats, he does actually get things done. He's involved in all the peace talks around Ukraine, the Russia, Iran, Gaza, Israel.
Okay, whoa, pause.
What's the UK?
His negotiating strategy for Ukraine and Russia was maybe Ukraine should just give Russia everything that they want.
Yeah.
Oh, it's easy to stop wars if you just let the powerful people push everyone else around.
Did the USSR ever just think, maybe we just let Hitler win? The war will stop. You know, be fine. But ridiculous.
Just have Poland, mate. Go for it. Just have Poland, sure, whatever. See if I go.
Yeah, also, you'll notice about those negotiations, they haven't been successful, have they?
Nope.
None of those wars have stopped.
The
So
only war
his involvement in them doesn't seem to have actually worked.
Like, the only war that he's actually stopped, and by stopped I mean slightly simmered down, but there is still genocide happening, is in Israel-Gaza. And it's not because of any negotiation skills, because you don't need to negotiate with Netanyahu. You are the American president, you control him, you can turn off the taps at any point, which is what makes Biden so much of a fucking monster.
Yep.
Because he could have done that and did not.
Yeah. And thereby led to Trump being re-elected again.
Because again, this wasn't a
Thanks, Joe.
negotiation between Gaza and Israel. This was a negotiation between Gaza and Trump.
Yep.
And Trump, they had a button that said stop genocide, and he decided to press it.
Whereas Joe Biden went, I don't have the physical strength to press the button. Oh, well.
Think about what will happen in swing districts.
Hey, government doing? What's Keir Starmer doing?
Okay, the man here in the front.
I wouldn't say I trust Trump, but I trust America. But it's a weak Europe.
Why? Why do you trust America? What have they done to engender that feeling within you? At all?
That has allowed him to do this. So he can kind of do what he wants. But I think ultimately, America we can trust. But if we had a stronger Europe, then, today we actually sort of...
Layla.
Shown that we are.
He said strong Europe. You know what to do. Do you know what to do?
A little bit strong. And he did listen to us then. But if we'd done that from the beginning, and we had a strong NATO...
Might not have been in this position.
Yeah.
So Greg, first of all, I just wonder what you think about what you're hearing. And listen, I'm not trying to paint you as a spokesperson for I'm not trying to put you in that position.
I don't work for the
campaign. You're the head of Republicans Overseas UK, so we're going to try and pick your brains on this.
Yeah.
How should we see the world order developing under Trump? I mean, one of the criticisms that is made of him is that his view is might is right. Sod the diplomacy, sod international law, issues of sovereignty, all of it inconvenient. As long as you're powerful, that's the only thing that matters. Is that fair?
It is fair because he believes in peace through strength, which started with Eisenhower in the 50s. Ronald Reagan got most of the credit for it because he developed it as a concept and he used the term quite a bit, but it was actually Eisenhower doing it quietly. And so, that's what he wants. He wants peace through strength. And so he's settled armed conflict so far. He's very
Except there wasn't
conscious
peace.
of China and Russia.
Yeah. Like, that kind of doctrine lasted for 40 years, and it constantly led to conflict in which America invaded and couped and murdered. And the only real kind of stability that we had was after that kind of thing got ditched in the 90s.
Yeah, literally. Also, do you want to mention all of the democratic governments that you overthrew during that period? At all? Anyone? No? Okay.
As adversaries. That's why he wants to control, to some degree, Greenland, so we can develop the Golden Dome, we can develop more defense mechanisms. He doesn't want Russia to jump into the arms of China. Russia and China together is a much bigger threat than Russia and China divided.
Yeah, you tell that to fucking Mao. Yeah? Yeah, I said it. Sino-Soviet split memes in 2026. Let's go.
Let's go!
So he wants to at least try to bring Russia into the Western fold. The only time they really behaved well in the last 80 years since the war has been when they were more integrated with the West in the 90s. Didn't last more than a decade, unfortunately.
Yeah, because you financially raped the country and led to the average age of the Russian lifespan went down by over a decade post the end of the USSR. Just put that out there. That's literally what capitalism does. It kills.
Yeah. Yeah, the shock doctrine was it was again social murder.
But don't worry, Mikhail Gorbachev did a Pizza Hut advert with one of the fucking Germans from Hello Hello, so it's fine.
But so I think he sees the fact that you keep your friends close and your enemies closer. There's a certain honesty to that. And Mark Carney and Keir Starmer are now reaching out to China. That's not the outcome we want.
Which, by the way, did you know that? Because someone told me this on chat, and I was like, I've seen that advert a million times. The dad from the family that's arguing is the old fat general from Hello Hello. Is the actor. I didn't even know he was Russian. He's a Russian heritage and can speak Russian, and he was in that advert. I was like, what the fuck? It blew my mind.
But we also want to make sure that Russia is not reaching out to China. I mean, they already have this sort of loose partnership, but with China being the much bigger partner, obviously. So there's no doubt that America has pivoted to Asia in terms of our defense policy. In the Obama years, we took our capabilities of a two-front war down to 1.5, and now it's down to 1, really. And on the special relationship, that's...
How? You've massively increased your spending militarily. How have you halved your capability? How shit are you? How corrupt is this? Like, I was having this...
What's funny is it is a blank check.
Yeah,
it's quite literally a blank check. So the military budget gets given to the Pentagon, and then the federal government crosses their fingers and hopes the Pentagon spends it correctly. That is the reality of the American funding regime.
They haven't passed an audit in like 20 years.
Nope.
The Pentagon, because billions go missing all the time.
Oh, we're supposed to get mad about some Somali welfare recipients in Minnesota, and yet fucking Boeing and Raytheon just walking away with endless fucking reams of cash
for nothing,
whilst delivering nothing.
Because I was literally, I heard this the other day. I described the transcontinental railway, a huge endeavour in the 19th century from east coast to west coast in America. The first of its kind, the longest railway that had existed on Earth at that point. Amazing achievement. And it was one of the most corrupt things ever, right? The amount of money that got pissed away on this thing into private pockets, and it was corrupt as shit. And I think I described it as the most corrupt thing that's ever happened. And I had to sort of review it in my mind for the next few days, because it's not at all, because it got built. It was corrupt, fucking millions, and I mean millions then. So we're talking like trillions, I suppose. I don't know. When it pissed away into private funds, but you got a railway out of it. It was one of the great fucking engineering achievements of all time. Amazing thing. Whereas now we have that level of corruption and nothing gets fucking built. So at least back then it was corrupt as fuck, but stuff happened. Whereas now it's just corrupt as fuck and nothing happens.
When those corrupt companies eventually fucking fold, it all gets brought into public ownership, right?
Yeah.
And now we have a gigantic mass failure, which is causing infections of a basic commodity that humans need to survive, i.e. water. And the government is like, I'm just a small being government, I can't do anything with Thames water. Wah.
You're just going to have to swim in shit forever. Fucking hell.
That is going to continue. That's not, I mean, there's speed bumps, as Stuart said, sometimes friends have disagreements, sometimes friends misbehave.
I mean, friends don't generally call each other stupid, do they?
Yeah, he's...
I call my friends cunt every day. So yeah, no, I call them stupid. I just don't threaten to take their money. I don't threaten to fucking sanction them if they don't want to go for a pint one night. You know what I mean? Like, this is
removed from Swift because you said no to my birthday party.
Exactly. You're not in the group chat anymore, bitch. Like, no, that's like what you're describing is not a friendship. It's bullying.
But he's an equal. But he's some.
Well, okay. We're not generally what you'd expect at a kind of diplomatic statement like that.
Called an entire audience stupid because he's picking on alternative or clean energy and of course.
Yeah, because he doesn't fundamentally believe in the scientific fucking fact that the Earth is getting hotter and we need to stop that shit. Yeah, he's a freak.
That was great that he backed away from net zero. But, when he says you're stupid if you buy windmills, Is it tasteful? No. Is it?
Also, they're not fucking windmills, you dork. What the fuck are you talking about?
No. In the modern Chinese economy is built off of a giant, massive flour production.
Yeah, fucking windmill. Honestly, he's such a crusty old bitch who needs to die. He really is.
No, but he's a different kind of president. He's all about outcomes, and polite diplomacy hasn't really worked.
What's funny, right?
Are you going to mention the fact that he stole a head of state? Anyone?
Literally no. What's the thing is, what he takes like the comment about windmills. The line really is that we don't want you buying wind turbines because they get made in China, which isn't even necessarily true. Solar panels get made in China. Wind turbines get made by all sorts of companies. And one of the biggest companies that does that in Europe is Danish, of all things, which is quite funny, really, given the situation that we're seeing. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we're going to cut all this funding for wind turbine production in the United States, all of the subsidy from the Inflation Reduction Act. I'm just like, sure, well, surely if you care about China, the answer is to compete. And you're not doing that. You're allowing China to win. No one's going to stop buying wind turbines because they want to have cheap, clean power. And you're out there going to just kind of cling to the last vestiges of whatever oil is left before all the reserves run out. Yeah. And then you're going to realize all of your soft and hard power is gone when no one needs to rely on buying your shitty fucking toxic products.
Maybe that's why he wants to invade Greenland, because he thinks that's where all the green stuff comes from. Does he think net zero policy comes from Greenland? Is that actually like? Because he thinks that people who claim asylum are from asylums. So he makes connections in his mind. They're just not like real, you know.
For the last few generations, it didn't work for President Obama when he used polite diplomacy to ask his friends to spend more on defense, because if the burden was all on the United States and you had a threat from Russia, not too far from your front door. And so that didn't work.
Also,
so he's using a different method.
Can we talk about the fact
he's done this?
This whole discussion, people are kind of banging on like America is the reason why all the funding went to Ukraine. I'm like, France are the reason why there's the funding to Ukraine, by the way.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, obviously the US contributed a lot, and it's true, right? But I think plenty of countries in Europe collectively contributed more, and France is one of the biggest donors of military aid to Ukraine.
Yeah. And aren't the Baltic countries like per capita the highest or something?
Yeah, again, they just don't have big enough economies to.
Yeah, exactly, because it's 1 million fucking people. What do you expect them to do?
Yeah.
Whereas you've got the largest military ever.
And again, they're not spending all this money to protect Europe. They're using Europe as a geopolitically strategic entity.
Yeah, you're wasting money, and not wasting, but you're spending money and wasting Ukrainian lives to weaken a geopolitical enemy.
Yeah.
This before, it's amazing how where you throw you say something provocative, everybody freaks out for a few days, and then the outcome is good. And so he's done that. First term, second term, you might not like it. I know they don't like it in polite diplomatic circles and the salons of Paris, but
hang on.
The salons of Paris. I'm sorry, is this 1880? What are you talking about? The salons of Paris. You're a twat, mate.
I mean, if you're Greenland,
you
probably feel a little bit more strongly than you don't like it if someone says we're going to take over
Sure,
the country.
It's interesting we talked about sovereignty for Greenland. I mean, they're a colony, well, not a colony officially, they're a territory of Denmark. So it's kind of odd talking about sovereignty when they don't have it. And I'm quite sure they'd like.
No, but Denmark do, and they're in NATO. So you clearly don't take it seriously, and you just stole the head of state. Just ignoring that completely in all of this talk about sovereignty.
Self-rule. I know that it polls very well in Greenland, but they also depend on.
They've gone off the idea since the Americans started threatening them. They now want to be definitely part of Denmark.
Sure, and they need the $1 billion a year in welfare payments from Denmark as well.
But they don't want to be American. That's the point.
Someday they might, and I think.
But not now.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll put it to a referendum. No one wants to be American, Greg.
No.
I will give you this one for free. No one wants to be American. No one wants to be brought the freedom of McDonald's. No one wants to have the freedom of getting bankrupt for medical bills. No one wants the freedom of having to worry whether your kids are going to get shot up when they go to school. No one wants this. No one wants to be permanently car-brained. No one wants to...
Yeah.
No one wants any of the cultural exports economically of the United States anymore. They may have wanted to have that 30 years ago when people thought the American dream was real. But in a post-globalization world, everyone knows what America is like. Americans know what America is like in comparison to other countries. They're on Xiaohongshu looking at China and realizing they were lied to their entire lives. No one wants America. The only people who want to be American are ones fleeing countries that you've bombed. No one wants it. Fuck off.
True. You know, there are only 3 countries in Europe that don't have McDonald's. Vatican City, Liechtenstein, and Iceland.
Interesting.
Yeah, little factoid for you there.
I mean, it is hilarious because that means that there is McDonald's in Monaco.
I believe there is a McDonald's outlet in Monaco.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Which shows you that even the fucking super rich tax dodging fucks from the Formula One scene, even they have bad taste.
Obviously they do. Have you seen some of them? I mean, just awful. Big, massive diamond earrings and stuff. It's gross.
I mean, what I will say, Kevin, if you ever get a chance, check out a picture of Oscar Piastri. He's a Formula One driver, and he's got.
I know who he is.
But he's got a twink face and a Rollins neck. It's hilarious.
Okay, cool.
Like genuinely, it's really fun. I never noticed until I saw him take off his helmet. I was like, his neck is as wide as his head. How does a twink have a Rollins neck? This is so jarring.
Maybe those voices there will say, but I mean, I just have to I get what you're trying to say, right? And in terms of the rules-based order changing, I think the West as a whole, but Europe in particular, does need to take some accountability. We did let our armed forces slip back. Under the last government, we saw the lowest number of armed troops that we've ever had in this.
Oh, I wonder if there's a political party that aided and assisted in that.
Country. I think we got complacent, and I think we saw the rise of Russia and China. We saw their capabilities before our eyes and just pretended it wasn't happening. And I think for that we need to take a level of accountability. But it does cross a line when we need at this point to be strengthening NATO. This is exactly the moment for the reasons you've described.
Yeah. So not that based on foreign policy then?
No.
That we need to stand stronger together. And when he threatens to invade a fellow NATO member, that is implosion of something that should be strengthened. So absolutely, we should be increasing our defence spending. Absolutely.
Okay.
In order to prepare for peace, you have to prepare for
And
war.
as for bringing Russia
we
into
have-
the West,
you know,
and
whoa.
Russia has invaded.
Again, as I've said many times, I'm not averse to more defence spending. I'm not averse to it. But the idea that somehow the current amount that we're spending at the moment is infinitesimal, we're so back down on defence spending. We have a huge military, right? We have a big military. Just because it's not rivaling Russia or whatever doesn't mean we need to spend like significant amounts more. And second of all, your motherfucking party did austerity, right? Like you people couldn't even spend on the good stuff, let alone the unfortunate but necessary stuff, right? Like fuck off. Like you're going to reverse the tax cuts that you did under George Osborne to try and justify this spending. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Europe. I mean, that's essentially what we have a battle
thinking
going
long term.
on. Well,
I mean, see the ladies point at the back.
She's
I think
not
Russia
thinking
and
long term, that's a
China
lie.
This week are laughing at us, and it's disgraceful. What?
All right, I'm going to. So will you forgive me? I'm sorry. I've got to get some other questions in because I've seen the questions you submitted tonight, and I think you'll have our guts for garters if there's one in particular we don't get to. So anyway, I just want to tell you where we are next week, which is Kings Lynn, and the week after that we're off to Dorking. So if you live in or around Kings Lynn or Dorking, you'd like to come and be part of the Question Time audience, apply to the website, all the instructions in there, and hopefully we will see you. Right, Daniel Clark, where are you sitting? Where are you? Brilliant, off you go.
Given the number of defections to Reform UK, is the death of the Conservative Party imminent?
Yes. Next question.
Right, so Reform now has 7 MPs. Their numbers swelled by Robert Jenrick, former Conservative Shadow Justice Secretary, Nadeem Zahawi, once Conservative Chancellor, only for a couple of months, but nonetheless he served, not currently an MP, and Andrew Rosendale, Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs.
So they're now just the Tories? The Reform Party are just the Tories?
Well, yeah, that's the whole point, right? Like I did a TikTok I put up the other day of just me just like listing off, reeling 20 names or something of people who were previous Tories who are now Reform UK figures.
Yeah.
Is the death of the Conservative Party imminent?
Well, I think you know that I'm going to say absolutely not.
Yeah, but it's not looking good, is it?
Look, I'm not going to...
Okay, when are you defecting then?
And again, like, their polling average is 19%. They went from their worst ever electoral performance in history. Yes, literally in history. This is the worst the Tory party, i.e. the Conservative and Unionist Party, after all of the different previous iterations changed, right? It is the worst they have ever done in the history of their existence. They've never done this badly, ever. And they're polling lower.
Yep.
They're doing worse than their worst result ever. Like, this is crisis point, like, double-digit seats, heat death moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend that this week and the defections have been easy. Of course they haven't. And for some of my colleagues, those have been quite incredibly painful because they are people who they have supported, they're good friends of. And the manner in which, well, certainly one defection was done, I thought was pretty appalling, frankly. But what I have seen this week within the parliamentary party and within our shadow cabinet is an absolute determination to carry on with the project that Kemi Badenoch has been doing, which is the renewal and the rebuilding of our party. And
which is a posh, pretend Welshman's version of, we're just the band on the Titanic. We're going to play as it sings.
Also, again, they're not rebuilding their party because, like, the membership is going down. The number of MPs is going down, both through defections and expulsions or whatever it might be. The level of support in the polls, again, is still lower than their worst result in history. I'm like, what rebuilding is this? Your political rebuilding in terms of trying to win people over is banging on about the Chagos Islands during a cost of living crisis. Maybe get a fucking clue.
Did you see PMQs this week?
No.
She literally asked, she had like, was it 5 or 6 questions or whatever, and the first 2 questions were about Chagos. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this bitch? Why do you possibly think that's an appropriate series of questions to ask at this time? People can't afford to fucking eat. They don't give a fuck about some chain of islands in the Pacific. No one cares. Or
And the reality
Indian
is
Ocean
that
or whatever, yeah.
The Chagos deal was praised by Trump in the first place, like,
and fucking negotiated by the government she was a part of.
Literally, it was James Cleverly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ray K, for the raid. Welcome in 20 viewers from Ray K. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. You're through to the No Justice stream and talk about UK politics from a socialist perspective 6 days a week. Please consider dropping the follow button. It is easy and free to do so. You should also go and follow Kevin Logan, also a socialist streamer, also from the UK, who I am currently streaming with. KF Logan 1875 to go and do that. Everyone in my chat and in Kevin Logan's chat, everyone go and follow Ray K. That is RAYKHAY over on Twitch. Based Palestinian streamer. We love to see it.
Bosh.
yes, it's going to take time. I get that. It's not going to be easy.
And when you've got
But
Robert
what I've
Jenrick
seen
saying,
her-
when he was in government, there wasn't a principle the Conservative Party wouldn't betray. I mean,
So-
that's got to hurt.
Yeah, well,
And is it true?
Like, how the fuck can the Reform Party do that? The guy who literally started putting migrants in hotels as immigration minister is now in their party. They're a joke. They're a farce. They
The
have
one
no
who
principles.
publicly, the immigration minister was publicly criticised for his failure as an immigration minister by the current leader of the party he's now a member of.
Yep. They're just the Tory party. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the funny thing is, he was in the government. So, you know, I do have some issues with some of the statements that Robert has been making.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't saying that as a criticism. He was just saying, no, there's nothing we wouldn't sell out on. That's why I've joined the Reform Party.
And I would say, I'm afraid, being quite frank, that I think after party conference, when Kemi gave, I think, one of the best leaders' speeches I have seen for a long time, I think it started to dawn on him that the opportunity to challenge her was diminishing. Then she had her excellent response to the budget and the Prime Minister's questions and so on. And this week, she acted decisively with him. She is the strong leader that we need to get us united and to get the policies that will get this country working. And I have full confidence that, you know, it will take time.
Honestly, this is comical alley levels of propaganda.
I mean, it's just
The
pathetic.
Americans will never invade Baghdad, and then it pans out and it's fucking streams of American tanks pissing into the heart of the city.
Well, it's just very funny that they know that it's over. They're staring into the abyss and just going like, well, I've got to say something, say anything.
Yeah, it's like they don't know any other way. Again, the PPE crowd have no idea of like things ever changing because history was supposed to have ended. How can this possibly be happening? And so they just carry on regardless. They don't know how to adapt or change to anything because nothing was ever supposed to change ever again.
It's like what I was saying about Mark Carney before. Like, the only person taking this seriously is a weirdo numbers droid. All the political apparatchiks are just stuck there, only having learnt one way of how to deal with politics, because there was this normalization period over the last kind of 45 years. That's all just kind of ended abruptly, and they're just kind of blubbing around like gormless fish, not knowing what to do.
Yep.
And it's not been easy. But I have seen my colleagues in Parliament and my party members in my association who are absolutely determined to do the job, support Kemi, unite and rebuild.
Layla.
Anyone here watch The Traitors? It makes you wonder what it's like round the Conservative shadow cabinet table. You don't have to comment at all, but I do.
It's very, very united, even more so now.
Well, I wonder.
Okay,
I
pause.
do wonder, and then.
You're a Liberal Democrat. Obviously, I know you weren't a coalition government minister, but, well, what things are like around the Conservative shadow cabinet table? Well, why don't you ask Ed Davey? He was in the real cabinet whilst they were killing people of this country, whilst they were invading Libya. All those bad things that happened that were signed off by the party you are representing here.
But they were united in doing those evil things, so that's fine.
They go off in side rooms and have conversations because it invariably look like, you know, this drip, drip, drip of.
Yeah, they are all drips. That's true. Yeah.
And you're right to point out Robert Jenrick was, you know, a bit of a failed minister. He didn't take his defeat gracefully for the leadership, but he also didn't do that well when he was a minister either. And he's gone over, and the others that have gone over, I don't think a lot of your colleagues are terribly sad about. I mean, one of them, I shan't betray any confidences, but said that reform was the best natural laxative the Conservative Party has had in some time, which felt strong.
Wow.
Not
Layla,
my words.
that's an unpleasant
Not my
image.
words.
Yeah, but it's also pretty funny. That's pretty good.
I missed it because all I could hear was your desk collapsing.
Sorry, I will skip back 10 seconds because it's a good line.
Said that reform was the best natural laxative the Conservative Party has had in some time, which felt strong.
Gosh,
not
Layla,
my words.
that's an unpleasant
not my
image,
words.
I think.
I know, not
Really.
the best image. Not the best image.
I mean,
I think, but I will say something though, and I don't
Pause.
think these.
I mean, the line there is, i.e., it's making sure all of the shit gets pumped out of the Conservative Party because anyone who's not worth it will leave and go to Reform. But actually, I think it is right for a different reason, i.e., the country shits out the Conservative Party forever, and we no longer get constipated by their shitty politics because the entire party is gone.
And then we flush them away into the fucking sewer of history. Yes.
True.
Psychodramas within parties are actually.
And then Thames Water pump them into our fucking seas.
No!
Be very good for democracy. And we had enough of it, frankly, from you lot at the last election. We really looked forward to not having that in this Parliament. And unfortunately, it looks like you're all continuing to squabble like rats in a sack.
Well, what about,
when
hang
in
on,
fact,
Layla.
We've got big issues in this country, like the NHS, like the cost of living, that we need to get on and solve.
So-
I really hope that this doesn't
I want
continue.
to
For
challenge
all of
that.
our sakes, we've had enough.
But Layla, why aren't you doing better then? If you've got 72 Lib Dem MPs.
We've got.
Because they don't stand for anything. That's why. They don't actually really represent much.
72 Lib Dem
I know, but
MPs.
look where you are in the polls.
Honestly.
So the latest poll of polls, you're last. I mean, lots of little parties are hardly
Well,
anyone's
look,
heard
polls
of. You're below Reformed, Tories, Labour, Greens, and then it's the Lib Dem.
And then if
What
you
is
look
going
at,
wrong with
and
your
in
party?
other polls, if you look at who's the most trusted leader, it's Ed Davey and the Liberal
Well, he's never
Democrats.
getting anywhere near it on the polling at the moment. What's going wrong?
Well, all I will say to that is we've got 72.
You know what he needs to do? More one-on-ones on FIFA.
True, more ones on FIFA, more abseiling,
Yeah.
more hobby horsing.
Exactly. I haven't seen this prick in a canoe in like 2 weeks. What is he doing, really?
Lib Dem MPs, way more than at the last election. Right by you, you've got Cheadle and you've got Hazel Grove, very nearby, places that we won because.
So why
we
aren't you
saw
doing better?
failed
That's what I'm
Conservative-
asking you.
We are doing well.
Well, not in the polls,
I'll
you're
tell you
not.
what. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's a poll that really matters. By-elections last year, actual ballots in boxes. Which party won the most number of by-elections of any of the parties, including Reform? The Liberal Democrats. when it
Pause.
comes to actual
Because they were all in ex-Tory constituencies.
Yep.
That's it, right? You're just yellow Tories. You are pride flag Thatcherites. Like, if you were meaningfully different, people wouldn't have voted for you in these Tory heartland constituencies.
Yeah. True. All Zach has to do is go for a jog. True.
True.
ballots in boxes, which
Honestly, I was panting by the end of that. It was just... How many takes did that take? Because, like, no offence, Zach, I know you're listening, mate, but you are not in prime shape. You running around whatever city that was, you must have been absolutely shattered.
to the only polls I care about, we are doing very well. We're looking forward towards May, and we think at the next election, especially with the right split...
The LGBT if the T stood for Tory. True.
...the way it is, and us competitive and Tory-facing seats, we are going to continue to do very well indeed, thank you.
Briefly, you wanted to come back in.
I just want to make this point. That,
Hang on,
you
one
know,
second.
you say the shadow cabinet is divided.
Is it what LGBT? Is that Lawson, Geoffrey Howe? There's a Tory beginning with B.
Beelzebub.
True. And then T for Thatcher.
Yeah, true. Can we get some lols in chat for the T in that LGBT being dead?
And also for the L and the G. Let's fucking go.
Whereas Beelzebub never dies, so, you know.
I've never seen it more united.
Well,
We
that's
are
this-
working
wasn't
together.
last
Well,
week,
next week, maybe.
How the fuck is Tebbit still alive, by the way? How is that a thing? How?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. To be fair, Geoffrey Howe was like in his 90s when he died, but.
Hang on, that was only a week ago.
What I mean by that is, you know, Robert was going off and doing his own thing with his videos and what have you, but the rest of the team have been working...
This is a PlayStation controller.
And this is some snacks. So was he a videos game control or something?
Yeah, fucking Christ.
Incredibly closely.
Andrew
In
Rosendale, Shadow Minister
health-
for Foreign Affairs, you
in-
left last
in
week
the
as well.
Shadow Cabinet, I've been working with our Shadow Education team on mental health because obviously it's important for my portfolio. Likewise with Helen Waitley in DWP. We are working
So it's
very
all
much
great
as a
now.
team.
No one else is going to
No
defect.
one else is going?
Also-
Are you
I've
sure?
no idea.
Are you
All right.
sure?
I wouldn't want to be talking very loudly about working with Helen Waitley because she is literally the thickest person in Parliament.
I was about to say, she can't suffer from mental health because she doesn't have a brain.
What I know is in our Shadow Cabinet we've been working incredibly hard. Our Shadow teams
All
are doing
right.
the same.
Greg, are the Tories facing extinction?
I don't think extinction, no. And I think it is the oldest party in the world and the most successful party in the world. They're really good at winning elections. I was very critical of the Tory party during the last 2 or 3, or the last 2 or 3 years of their when they were in power. And so I think there's some parallels to what's happening in the U.S. The MAGA movement, the Trump movement, is very similar to reform. It's when large groups of voters are disappointed with all the parties. So even
bunch of fascist
Tory
slags.
voters were disappointed with the Tories. I think in many ways they governed from the center left during Boris Johnson and David Cameron, Theresa May. I think, so there's that voter frustration. It's why not only the MAGA movement in the U.S., but look at Vox in Spain and AfD in Germany and National Front in France. I mean,
I will just say a bunch of fascist slags, yeah.
A bunch of fascist slags.
Like, literally.
the parties of the right in the Netherlands, for example, the parties of the sort of new parties of the right are leading in all of many Western European countries. You can even say the current Italian government is
A bunch of
is
fascist
reflecting that.
slags.
So I think the rise of reform. There's so many people who can be in both parties, right? And you've seen.
What about Liz Truss? I mean, as I understand it, you think she's been the most successful leader for the Tories in recent years.
No, I didn't say that.
It's literally true. Literally true. She had 2 policies. Kill the Queen, crash the economy. Did it in a month. Boom.
Absolutely. My sleeper agent queen.
Absolutely perfect, honestly. She did fucking the Maoist third worldist deconstruction of the imperial core. God bless her.
Did you not? I thought you thought she was the best thing to come out of the Tory party.
From my perspective, I didn't say she's the most successful. Obviously,
You think
she
she was the
wasn't
best?
if she lasted 45 days. But and by the way, Liz is a friend, and I'm all for her. But her policies,
Oh, you absolute fucking dweeboid. What is wrong
That's the
with
thing.
it? I'm friends with the person who lost to a lettuce.
It's so funny, really, because she keeps trying to continue to have this media kind of career. She's kind of pivoting to Trumpian populism
Yes.
or whatever it is with her new Liz Truss show. And I'm just like, keep doing it, Liz. Keep doing it. The best way of causing maximum destruction to conservatism as an ideology, right, is to have it continually put next to Liz Truss's face.
True. And of course, she had copious amounts of anal sex as well. Yes, this is a fact.
We have a direct correspondent.
We literally do. We have that brief covered in material that can be washed down very easily. Just saying.
were the only ones that were policies of the right. Now, maybe you can argue that the execution wasn't perfect.
No, the execution was fine. It's just that the policies of the right are destructive. Yes, we know. We're very aware of that, yeah.
Perfect.
As Farage said, it was the best budget since 1983, he said. And it crashed the economy instantly. Leading to her downfall, which was funny.
But, clearly,
There's a theme there.
supply-side economics, for example. So she was more Margaret Thatcher than David Cameron and Boris. Boris had price. I mean, Boris and Rishi had price cap.
No, to be fair, Thatcher survived for like a decade, and didn't kill any monarchs in Britain.
Failed. Windfall tax.
Literally failure, rubbish.
And net zero. I mean, all these things that Joe Biden could only dream of when he was president. He couldn't get done, and yet Boris and Rishi got them done.
Yes, the Democratic Party are to the right of the British Tories. We know. Yes.
I mean, what was interesting is that of all of the presidents to kind of use in that description, probably bad to compare it to the one who did like a really big industrial policy platform, who walked on a picket line, and who did expanded Medicaid and the expanded child tax credit and all of the Inflation Reduction Act with 7% deficit.
Massive fan of that IRA.
He was a big fan of the IRA. It's true. Right?
Inflation Reduction Act is brilliant.
So was Thatcher also expressed how fond she was of that particular acronym when she negotiated the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. She negotiated that. That's true.
She did. Also, the another IRA was funded mostly by contributions from North America. Just saying.
True, but the reality, of course, is that, as I said, like the person who reduced drone strikes the most ever is Joe Biden.
Yeah,
it's interesting because he just increased the genocides the most as well.
True. Yeah, unfortunately he didn't win in every category. That is.
Well, that's the problem. Is that there is this weird thing where the first 2 years of Joe Biden, I was surprised by how much better that it was than I expected, and then the last 2 years was just I'm genuinely waiting for this person to shuffle off into to hell where he belongs.
But thankfully, he does have cancer now, so that's good.
True.
He literally does have cancer.
Yeah. Here in the green top.
And there was just reference to democracy, and I don't really understand how constituents vote in an MP and they can defect to another party and there isn't a by-election.
Victoria Wood's still doing character acting from Beyond the Grave. I love it.
Just don't understand how that can work.
Yes, because Robert Jennings said he's not going to have a by-election. And the woman here in the front in the pink sweater.
I think the Conservatives defecting to reform will do reform more harm than good. I think the voters spoke at the last
I think so. I think there is definitely an element of that. A lot of people,
100%, yeah.
A lot of people wanted to vote for them because they didn't want to vote for the Tories. Like, there were a lot of people who were traditional Labour voters in like the Red Wall who don't want to vote for Labour and would never vote for the Tories in their lives. But they'll vote for the Reform Party because it's not the party of Thatcher, even though it sort of is, but not literally. Like the brand of Conservative is like cancerous poison. People don't want that shit. And so
No.
them having just Tory after Tory after Tory, especially like I say, you've got a former Tory fucking chancellor, wasn't there very long, but like still did all of the fucking evil shit. The immigration minister who opened the fucking migrant hotels is now in the party that is like their whole thing is we need to close the migrant hotels. Why'd you bring except fucking wanker into the room then? What are you talking about?
It's true. Like, there was a moment, my mate posted this on Facebook, who lives in Stapleford, which is in the same constituency as me. It's in Broxtowe, but it's the other kind of side of Beeston's-Mead. And he was pointing out how he went to the polling booth for the local elections, and there was one of those people, like a greeter from the Reform Party outside there, and voters were coming out, and he also came out as well, and was just like, did you know that the Reform candidates were just the Conservative councillors from before the dissolution? And the voters said, no, it isn't. And the Reform group said, yeah, no, it's not. And I'm just like, neither the person there to campaign for reform, nor the people there voting for reform knew that the candidates were just the previous Tory councillors.
Mad. Fucking mad shit. But they're definitely anti-establishment guys, honest. Did you see Farage palling around in Davos? Very, very anti-establishment.
Yeah, he was there being paid by some Kazakh billionaire.
Because he's anti-establishment. You understand? Yeah.
Action for Conservatives, and for them to be defecting now to reform, I think that's damaging reform, and I think they are slightly dropping in the polls, which is.
And you think that's
shown.
why?
Have you noticed that the Nazi guy is just doing a sideways Nazi salute as well? Just saying, mate. Calm down.
Pardon?
You think that's why?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man behind you.
It's not just Conservative, though, is it? Nigel Farage, just over these last few days, has stated that there's a prominent Labour MP planning on defecting and going over to Reform.
Well, no.
I'd be interested to hear.
He said Labour figure, not Labour MP. And because we all know it's Kate Hoey, we know full well it's Kate Hoey. And given the conversation we're having over the next few days about the potential for a candidate selection stitch-up, has there ever been a more generational L in terms of candidate stitch-ups as the replacement of Martha Ossamore with Kate Hoey?
Kate Hoey is a joke. Just a person that Brexit broke the brain of.
When she was a dickhead in the 90s as
No,
well.
she was a dickhead then, but look, she's now just a fascist. Like, it's very strange.
What Emily would say to that. Presumably it's not you, Emily.
Well, let's ask, Emily. Who is it?
No,
Is there such a
surprisingly, it's
person?
not me. I don't know if he said a Labour MP. I think he said a prominent Labour figure, but which could be anybody. Let's face it. I mean, so.
Oh, it could
but
be
what I obviously
anyone,
would
yeah.
say to anybody on the Labour side.
Honestly, Lord Mann is a good candidate, I think.
Ian Austin was the one I had down.
Ian Austin, exactly.
Tom Harris, the Telegraph columnist.
Loads of people from the Labour right would fit in very nicely in Reform,
Is look very carefully at what kind of party you would be joining, and look at the people in it. Look at their policies. Look at the fact that Robert Jenrick, who was saying
Luke Akehurst, yeah.
I mean, someone pointing out that they think it was going to be Rosie Duffield, and I think that's like, just because she's a massive turf and a genuinely subhuman piece of shit doesn't mean that she also thinks that disabled people should be murdered. And like she did say in her resignation letter, she didn't mention trans people once when she resigned, by the way.
That is true, yeah.
She actually was really scathing, and I think was very perceptive about the problems of the party, which is like no one becomes a Labour MP to murder the disabled. And the fact that, again, I guess she did want out because she's such a turf, but the fact that she can at least have the principle to say, even if I disagree with all this stuff, that the basic premise of the Labour Party is being undermined by this current administration, right? That's more that you're getting from Richard fucking Bergen, is it?
True, very much so. Like she's a social democrat who hates trans people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she wants Keynesian economics and trans concentration camps, which is a sort of Keynesian, because that's going to be public works building concentration camps, right? That's going to employ a lot of builders.
Thank you, Riverboat Jack, for raiding in.
No, fuck off. No, really.
You literally.
Oh, that's
as soon as you
amazing.
as soon as you said the concentration camps were like Keynes in economics, the rate instantly hit.
Okay, I need to explain. I was doing a joke at the expense of a TERF about trans concentration camps. And the fact that a trans person raided into a trans person, that's the first thing they hear is a cis person saying that, is the most perfect timing that's ever happened, ever.
Welcome, Riverboat Jack viewers. You're through to the No Justice stream. We talk about UK politics from a socialist perspective 6 days a week. If that sounds like your thing, please get a drop.
And
a follow.
you only talk about trans concentration camps when I'm here, so, you know.
If you'd like to follow Kevin Logan, my
Don't! I don't deserve it. No.
But to fill you in, there is an MP called Rosie Duffield, who was a Labour MP, who now sits in Independent. She's like the arch TERF.
Yeah.
She's the most like outspoken, like incredibly kind of genuinely rancid TERF in the country. But she still supports like left-wing economic policy, and she left the Labour Party in a huff. But in her resignation letter, she didn't mention being a TERF. She mentioned the crappy economic policy, which is like she's just as a kind of middling social democrat who fucking hates trans people.
Yeah. So I was doing a joke about that at the expense of the TERF. May I remember. But please don't follow me. I don't think I deserve it. for that being the first thing you hear from me. You just don't. You are welcome to, but don't.
I mean, you know, he had one foot out the door when he was saying that he was disappointed he hadn't been able to see a white face when he was in Birmingham, if you remember. I mean,
Which he could have come to my house. I've got a white face and I'm in Birmingham. What? Also, he's just a racist piece of shit. He also,
is.
Like, are you going to mention that he called a place a slob? No, just going to ignore that bit.
his hair was getting shorter, he was going further to the right. It was obvious he was on his way to reform. And then finally...
His hair was getting shorter. The fuck's that got to do with anything? Unless you're saying he was becoming a skinhead by evolution. Or I suppose devolution, whatever.
His hair was getting shorter.
As his politics got more right-wing, his hair got shorter. Did you notice?
But do you
when
think
he was
the two
like
were
a centrist, I don't know. But
I think he just had a haircut, Emily. It's nothing to do with his fucking politics.
I tell you what, there was something about him that was getting smaller, and I don't think it was his hair.
Can he get any smaller without becoming an innie? I don't know.
But when he was
Is
a
this
centrist Tory
causation
MP,
here?
I'm just saying that, you know, it was just all part of the same thing. And, you know, and then he writes a letter of resignation, and he has a whole campaign around how he's going to get. And then Kemi finds it, and then she's complimented at being so forthright and decisive at chucking him out. Well, he was practically gone, and she found his resignation letter.
Yeah, as he's got a foot out the door, she's like, "Go on, fuck off out of here."
and stay out. Like, that's the funny thing is they just like, well, they just left the resignation letter lying around. Yeah, I'm sure it was left lying around totally like unthinkingly.
Yeah.
That is not necessarily evidence of strength. That is, I have to do it. Obviously, I have to.
A lot more strength than Keir Starmer with the cabinet ministers that are plotting against him.
I don't think cabinet ministers...
I can't wait to see how Nigel Farage does now that he's got all of these fucking snakes in his midst. Because, like, he was King Dick when it was just reform wankers. Now all the Tories, the backstabbing evil bastards, the fuckers, the same pricks who were putting in letters to the 1922 committee, now they're all in there. What's he going to do when Bobby J wants to be leader?
Oh, this, honestly, being a Green Party member is so good. Cause it's so nice to know that, like, every other party is like a nest of vipers, and we're just, like, very happy getting along, looking to try and make the world a better place.
Oh, you don't need to be gay about it. Jesus.
You know what? You know full well I need to be gay about it.
Well, I'm only half gay about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Emily.
I'm trying to definitely put any Riverboat Jack viewers off from ever even like saying, like, is he actually joking or is he a massive prick? I don't know.
I think it's absolute nonsense. This was a guy
Andy
who'd written
Burnham,
the letter...
not interested in Keir Starmer's job?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, at the last I heard from Andy...
Ooh, who oohed? This is not a fucking panto. What is... Oh, for God's sake. These are the adults in the fucking room, by the way.
Burnham, he said that he was going to go through this term. He had no interest in going to Westminster. in the near future, and he was going to carry on with his stuff.
Yeah, and he's a fucking Blairite fuck. What do you think he's going to tell the truth? He's a politician. God almighty.
I don't know.
I mean,
the
a
last I heard from
constituency
him.
is becoming available, as you know,
Yes,
undergoing stick.
yes.
I need to double check exactly what Andy Burnham said. I hope someone will correct me if I got this wrong. I think he said he couldn't predict the future.
He said, I'm committed to my... I've got it written down.
Oh,
I'm
brilliant.
committed to my third term, absolutely, and I'm not intending to come to Westminster anytime soon. And he's
Gay
also
is
said
in,
the best person
gay
to
is
be
hot.
Prime Minister is Keir Starmer.
I want some
Now, I don't
gay.
know, maybe
Gay
he's,
it's
you know,
gonna
like, that sounds to me like something
When
else.
was that, though?
So, a best person to be Prime Minister is Keir Starmer, he said at conference.
Yeah.
No, since the constituency came free this evening.
Oh, I don't know what he said since then.
He hasn't ruled it out,
Right.
is my understanding.
As I understand, he hasn't ruled it out, but I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, woman here in the front.
So, as a member of the general public and, you know, listening to the political parties and everything that comes out of Parliament, I can honestly say everybody's sick to death of the fighting, the back-bitching, the stabbing, the moving from the left to the right. Oh, do you want to be in the centre? Yeah, come to the right. You want to get on the left?
Is she just chatting at the bus stop now? What, is this a point? Is she asking a question? What is this? Fuck, where were we? Oh, no, we went past her. There we go.
The moving from the left to the right. Oh, do you want to be in the centre? Yeah, come to the right. You want to get on the left? Which side? Who wants to be on? Where do you go? I mean, how can we keep up with it? We're not allowed to have...
Read a fucking newspaper. Watch the TV. Watch Parliament. Follow the news. Is what my advice to you, I suppose. Like, be politically engaged and you might understand things.
Yeah, but even then, like, people aren't moving between ideologies. They're moving between parties that are ostensibly of the same ideology, right?
Yeah, and Bobby J hasn't changed in the slightest, really. He's just decided that being more far right is more efficacious because he wants to be Prime Minister. That's it.
And obviously he's being paid by the Heritage Foundation.
Well, there is also that, but I mean, to be fair, a lot of them have got dark money behind them. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of Tufton Street money or Russia money or whatever. There's a lot going on there. Yeah.
The thing is, he spoke like a normal Tory for ages, and then like there was this one who just kind of switched, and he started talking like a Trump head, and I was like, yeah, he just sounds like he's been given talking points by the Heritage Foundation.
Well,
like,
like I
it's so
say,
obvious to me.
He opened the fucking migrant hotels. Like, he was just your basic bitch Tory. He wasn't anything. And then, like you say, he's decided that, you know, the MAGA way is the way because he's been paid, you know. Watch Kev so you can follow the news. I mean, that's kind of true, but you also get a lot of slop as well, so, you know, be careful.
Have general elections.
If you want real news, you should follow No Justice MTG.
And Novara Media, where I also sometimes host.
You say sometimes, didn't you do it all week?
No, so it's only Thursday, Friday.
That's a week, basically. What's 5 days between friends?
Who decided to stop political general election for May, where we can vote?
Oh, you're talking about the council election.
Yeah, the
rather than
council
general
elections.
election,
Who decided that? Because that decides who's in Parliament.
But Keir Starmer decided that. If you had followed the fucking news, you would know that the Prime Minister offered that up to lots of councils. So the fact that you're not getting an election in May is because of Westminster. Which you don't know because you don't follow the fucking news. Oh.
Well, it's funny, really, that people keep saying, "Oh, Labour are trying to cancel elections." Well, they offered the councils if they want to, and then there's a bunch of Tory councils that said yes.
Yeah, because both major parties benefited from that. Neither the Labour or the Tories want to go to the polls right now, at all.
No.
Then we decide who goes to Parliament. Then you're going to decide you want to.
No, there isn't a fucking general election in May. What are you talking about? You know that there's a difference between MPs and councillors? Oh, we're just talking to an idiot. She's just an idiot, okay.
Be on that side. You decide you're going to be on that side, and exactly what this lady said here at the front before. We can't keep up with it. And
yes, you can! It's not that difficult! I believe in you. I think you have a brain in your head. It might not be working optimally, but it clearly exists. You can speak and everything. Like, fucking read a paper and just follow the news and that.
derogatory that is coming out of Parliament, we all sick of it because the country, we all trying to go to work, make a living, pay our bills, pay our taxes that are going up all the time, and people are absolutely feeling the back of it. And you have to realise, right, we're all privileged people. We've got jobs, we've got abundance of everything, we all work really hard, everybody comes together.
What the fuck are you talking about? Honestly,
So she's a secret Marxist. She's trying to kind of let everyone's guard down with the nonsense. Now she's going, yeah, but we're all privileged because we're the Labour aristocracy. Have you considered living in the cobalt mines of the Democratic Republic of the Congo? No, you haven't.
No, she's just
maybe
she's just an
check
idiot.
your privilege.
She's just an idiot who's rambling.
I mean, that is true. That is reality. But it's my headcanon.
Thank you, Nick the Peasant, for subscribing on for becoming a member on YouTube. Fuck's sake! And thank you, Wayward Historian, for gifting a sub to the fantastic Sister Rose, who everyone should go and follow on all of the platforms.
You should.
Hello
That's an
there,
order.
Sister Rose. It's just all of the trans bitches in here tonight. Every one of them. All the trans women in existence are in this stream right now. By which I mean you got No Justice, and then there's Riverboat Jack and Sister Rose. 3 of them. Without Mixed Vivian Wolf, though, the set is not complete.
True.
Live in a beautiful, civilised society, and then we have to listen to all this political,
So
I should explain. Sister Rose, we had a fantastic piece of timing earlier. I was doing a joke about Rosie Duffield wanting to open up trans concentration camps as Riverboat Jack raided in to No Justice MTG. So a trans woman raided into a trans woman as a cis person was explaining humorously the opening of trans concentration camps, which is a look. It's a look.
But that's right. I think fine. You got your terminology wrong. They're called Glusen camps now.
They're called what? Sorry,
they're called Glusen camps.
Glusen camp. Okay, I'm with you. Sorry. Right. Okay. Callback.
You have to tell me how you'd vote. But do you know how you'd vote in the next election? Which is
I can honestly tell you, right, I've only ever voted once in my whole life. How sad is that?
Yeah, I'm annoyed that you voted once, considering how fucking ignorant you are. If someone as ill-informed as you should have your fucking vote removed from you. Unless you can pass a test that shows you have basic, giving a fuck. I don't even care if you're clever. Just follow the fucking news a bit.
For someone who's been
Is that because you just didn't know where to put your vote?
For someone who's been able to vote, right, for 42 years, I have only ever been driven to vote once.
Okay, you've got to tell us who that was for now.
No, I'm not going to tell
All
you.
right, fair enough. Okay.
Oh, spoil sport.
It was the BNP. There's no way it wasn't the BNP in 2004. I guarantee it.
I'll put you on the spot. Okay, I'm going to move on and take another question.
Because I just wanted to get rid of blacks, What's wrong with that?
Loads of you asked about this. Loads of you. So let
me guess, a black person just raided in as I did that joke. Did they?
Welcome in, Raptor Blue.
That would have been amazing.
William McBride, where are you sitting? William, right, off you go.
Jawline!
How can we balance protecting green spaces like Adlington Newtown with the urgent need for more house building?
Right, now all of you here will know...
Do we actually care that much?
I mean, I do care, but we literally covered this exact same topic on Question Time, semi-recently, and I expended all of my energy getting mad at NIMBYs then. I don't particularly want to continue to have to do that all over again, making these same arguments.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. And it's 1:45.
Yeah, it is 1:45.
So, I don't think there's another question after this, is there? No. No, that's it. That's it. Okay, so we'll leave it there. What a fantastic start to 2026's Question Times. Fantastic.
Oh, God. And next up, they're going to have they're gonna have a representative from Fratelli d'Italia on the panel.
Yes, they've got the AFD's foreign policy spokesperson on an immigration special. Woo!
I have three immigration specials back to back.
Yeah.
3 hours. You must continue.
To be
talking.
fair, this is the first question time in a long time where they haven't had a directly immigration question.
Yeah, it's
We
true.
never talk about it, chat. In the whole of 2026's question times, we've not once talked about immigration. It's a disgrace. Anyway, yes. So go and follow No Justice MTG and Riverboat Jack.
Do that. That's an order. And also follow KF Logan 1075. Despite his protestations to the contrary, you should follow him. He is very funny.
I am very funny. And it's not.
Sometimes
It's
may
not
be good,
always
sometimes
about.
may be shit.
It's not always about war, like international crimes and stuff. It's not always about human rights abuses. My humour.
Sometimes it's about obscure football knowledge from 1997.
Literally, honestly, the amount of times I talk about Dennis Bergkamp, it's too much. It is too much. But I will not stop.
Someone's always found Arsenal very irritating. I did very much enjoy Dennis Bergkamp.
Exceptional. That goal in '98, still my favourite goal of all time for the Holland in the World Cup.
So good, so good.
Mental. Doesn't make sense. It defies the laws of physics. Anyway,
it does. I mean, I think the only other goal that I've enjoyed as much as that was Andre Schürrle's 7th against Brazil.
That was true, but it wasn't necessarily that it was that great a goal. It's the fact that it was the 7th against Brazil in the World Cup semi-final.
And it was a pretty.
It was a good goal. It was a good goal, to be fair.
Yeah.
But also, like, Brazil. It's not that I dislike the country of Brazil. It's that you're too good at football and have been too successful. It's good to see you get knocked down a fucking peg. Just
yeah, that's
saying.
why Trump banned Brazil in time for the World Cup.
Literally. I can't wait to see what countries aren't allowed to go to the World Cup now. Depends which one he's rowing about on Twitter this week, you know, whatever.
Yeah, literally.
I'll go into Katie Marshall on the YouTubes.
I'm gonna go over into Rhizome, I think.
Fair enough. Well, I'll go into Rhizome on Twitch, I think.
Oh, okay, on YouTube, yeah, because I'm not on YouTube anymore.
Oh, yeah, because you do, because you're the question time, yeah.
Free Palestine, free Sudan, free Kurdistan as well.
Indeed so. Yes. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, the 10-second thing. Fuck. Well, you get to see me end the call anyway. No, you didn't, because it wasn't even on the screen. Bye.